hospitalized with serious injuries, but then later died. We're learning that Taylor, who stayed at the scene of the crash after it happened, was arrested last Thursday. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis touting recent state action in the immigration crackdown.
This is the largest immigration enforcement operation that we've seen in quite some time throughout the entire country. Florida state agencies assisted federal authorities to arrest over 1,100 illegal aliens across the state.
And a memorial in honor of those killed at the Uvalde school shooting in Texas has been vandalized.
Someone vandalized memorial crosses that pay tribute to those who were killed in the Robb Elementary School shooting in Uvalde, Texas, nearly 3 years ago. Family members of the victims spent this morning making repairs at the site. Police say security will be improved at the site.
CBS's Jim Crisula. WTIC News time is 3:04 from the WTIC 24-hour traffic network. Looks like we got a crash down in Berlin. Route 9 northbound between exits 32 and 34. Looks like the left lane is taken out there northbound due to a two-vehicle crash. Leftover road work on 84 East and Vernon between 64 and 67. Shoulder work should be wrapping up as we speak. Westbound 84 in the West Hartford area between 39A and 36. Right lane will be out for another half hour or so. And eastbound on 84, the HOV beyond Silver Lane, the entry there, they're still working. They'll be out there till about 3:30. Here's the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
For the rest of our Thursday, a pleasant day with a blend of sun and clouds, the high of 72. Overcast tonight, couple of showers around, the low down to 53. Friday, it remains cloudy and warm. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm, breezy in the afternoon, the high of 81. Partly cloudy, mild Friday night, the low 59. On Saturday, cloudy, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Some of those could be packing a wallop and produce flooding downpours and localized damaging wind gusts, the high of 76 Saturday. A cloudy day for us on Sunday, not as warm with a couple of showers, but still pleasant with a high of 70. Then periods of rain Sunday night continue into the day on Monday with more periods of rain. It'll be cooler to kick off the week, the high of 62. Tuesday, occasional rain continues. Make sure you keep that umbrella handy the first half of the week, the high of 64 for us on Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, 70 degrees right now in Hartford. Markets continue their upward trend this Thursday. The Dow's up 259 points, NASDAQ's up 371, and the S&P is up 67 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. It's 3:06. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
The law firm of Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott understands that divorce can be intimidating, and the decisions you make today will impact your life forever. Divorce is complicated. There's a lot at stake when considering your future. At Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott, our team of family attorneys have over 100 years of combined experience and understand every family law case is different. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer, you get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS. or visit bpslawyers.com. Katie Bissonette is responsible for the content of this ad.
To get your AC system ready to run at peak efficiency and save on energy costs this summer, go with Petro. Call 844-HVAC-4YOU now to schedule your AC tune-up. Petro's expert technicians can tune up and repair AC systems from all major brands to help prevent future breakdowns and potentially costly repairs. For a stress-free AC summer, go with your local HVAC pros. Go with Petro. Book your AC tune-up now. Go to petro.com, call 844-HVAC-4YOU or 844-482-2496 today.
Men is good enough.
1 minute.
Thank you, sir. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if erectile dysfunction is making for a bad bedroom experience.
By the way, who's going to be in tomorrow? Is it, what's his name? Justin?
Yeah,
Justin.
Okay. Fantastic. Both for you and for the one you love. At Northeast Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health,
take him out of his comfort zone on
options and even combine treatments to find a role. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour or more and make sex great again. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. For just $99, you'll get a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio.
Reese is on the radio. Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, baby, and welcome to your Thursday. It's Reese on the radio. News Talk 1080 WTIC. It is nice to know I'm learning this more and more. Like, I don't really pay attention to it, but it's nice to hear. There are all walks of life who listen to the Reese on the Radio program, and I'm always humbled by it. I just want to let you know that right off the bat. I'm always humbled by it when people tell me, it's like, yeah, this person, they listen to you all the time, man. They love the show. I'm like, really? They do? And I'm like, yeah, they do. And I'm like, wow, okay. That's nice. That is nice. And again, absolutely humbled by it. And I appreciate all of you. There are some people who listen because they hate the show. For you personally, I applaud you. Let me tell you why I applaud you. I applaud anybody who eats, drinks, lives in anything they can't stand and stays. That takes a lot. You know, that's like staying in a harmful marriage or a bad relationship, or at a horrible and worthless job, but having to stay, just can't pull themselves away from it. And if this show is a show that you think is arrogant or bad, pathetic, and yet you tune in every day from 3 to 6, I can't do anything but applaud you and celebrate you. I couldn't do it. I refuse. But you've got stamina. And I want you to know that I appreciate it. I do. Right now, there are people who would never listen to the show listening right now because of my opening monologue. But we'll get to that. I want to remind you that today is Thursday. So I know my faithful listeners in the African-American so-called community will be tuning in. Even though they hate this segment, they hate this day, they tune in religiously. So yes, it's going nowhere. It's Negro Nonsense Thursday.
Negro Nonsense. Negro Nonsense.
How dare you?
Negro Nonsense.
How dare you?
Yes. And it'll be a personal story, so we'll enjoy it today. Let me get to this. Tuesday, was it? Tuesday. I played you an interview from a parent I spoke to. I recorded the interview. I went over it. I edited out their voice. And they gave me the details about an incident that led to the arrest of a teacher at that school. That prompted another arrest. There have been 2 based upon that teacher. That interview aired on this program. And apparently, it had taken on a life of its own because this parent came forward to speak to me. I was even called a jerk about it. All I did was take the request of a parent who wanted to talk about their child, whom they believe, and now the police believe, was abused. I aired that interview. How that now has some sort of bearing on my character, I have no idea. But whatever, goes with the territory. The idea to deflect or to point fingers at me when I was called about talking about this, and I went through this. I debated it. I delayed it. I waited until action was taken, an actual arrest, before I aired the interview. I was very measured, on purpose. But then someone responded, and we got access to that response. I don't know if this is a letter to, I'm under the impression that this is a letter to the school or a memo that was sent out to administrators, faculty, or whomever at the Solomon Schechter School, but I have obtained access to it. It was forwarded to me. I'd like to read a very key part of this letter. I don't need to read the whole thing. I want to read the key part to this letter. Before I do, I want to make something abundantly clear about what Reese on the Radio does on this program. I pay attention to language, to what people say. Anyone who is an avid watcher or listener of this program knows that I pay very close attention to what people say and how they say it. It is important because people are purposeful when they write certain things. So, although I am leading the witness here, let me read you the passage that gave me pause. A very inaccurate radio piece that aired earlier this week on AM 180 about Schechter's knowledge of and response to the child welfare concerns in the school earlier this year. The allegations made on the radio are contradicted by our own internal records, by time-stamped email communications, and by official state documentation. Seems like a reasonable response, except for one thing. Let me read it back to you with what I call the Reese on the Radio acknowledgments. An inaccurate radio piece. Not a lie. Inaccurate. Okay. Inaccurate's a fair word. Maybe something was placed here or there. Maybe the timeline seemed to be or appeared to be screwed up. Upon first glance, you don't know exactly when anyone's talking about anything, or you don't even know who the parent is because their voice was obstructed, unless they know something I don't. Their voice was obscured. But using the word inaccurate instead of falsehood or lie is interesting. Inaccurate means that something happened and it wasn't laid out specifically. Okay, let's move on. Schechter's knowledge of and response to the child welfare concerns at the school earlier this year. The allegations made on the radio are contradicted by our own internal records, by time-stamped email communications, and by official state documentation. That is an interesting admission. Because in my hand is a text message. And it is written by the head of the school. In this statement, there is no mention of the documentation in emails, in text messages, which contradict what is going to be in every one of the so-called school documents. You should have included this can be backed up with text messages, because the text messages tell a different story. The text messages that you failed to mention in this letter say exactly the opposite. Exactly the opposite. I'll go so far as to read one of the text messages in question. Followed all the rules? Let's read a direct quote from a text message sent to the parent. At this time, we do not believe that the alleged conduct, let me start that over. At this time, we do not believe that the alleged conduct required us to make a mandatory report. What about that text? What about that text? That text contradicts the role of the school, even using the word mandatory report. Their own words suggest they felt they did not meet the requirements for a mandatory report. They even go so far as to say, we take all such concerns seriously. Based on our lawyer's advice, we have to investigate before reporting to authorities. Mandatory reporters decided to talk to lawyers instead of their obligation to mandatory report. Text message. These have all been made public. So when I hear the word inaccurate, and that's what the letter says, I'll read it again. A very inaccurate radio piece that aired earlier this week on AM 1080 about Schechter's knowledge of and response to the child welfare concerns earlier this year. The allegations made on the radio contradicted our own internal records by time-stamped email communications and by official state documentation, but not mentioning text messages, which we've all obtained. Myself, Mark in West Hartford, and anybody else who's read them. Please do not bore me. Don't. Just don't. I have this conversation with the kids all the time. Sometimes people in their indignance have a tendency to go above and beyond to run their mouths instead of doing what's right. Defense of themselves, defense of this, defense of that, instead of just doing what's right. Just do what's right. Forget about all the rest of this stuff. Do what's right. Don't come at me talking about what type of person that I am. I have nothing to do with this. Don't go after the parent who in this case was being victimized, or her child for that matter was being victimized, and go after them. If you are in this to save yourself, you're wrong-sided here. You are. You know you are. I don't have to tell you. You denied this parent the support that they needed, according to your own words. That is my view. That is my opinion. But do not make this about anybody but the people who should have stepped up and done something. Now I'm going to go one step further. Yesterday night, another parent contacted me. And I interviewed them yesterday. That parent hasn't even pressed any charges. Hasn't even. But could not believe the response. Could not believe the way in which it was handled. In fact, weirdly enough, it was similar, according to this parent, similar to the parent that I interviewed before. This is a problem, according to them. The only thing I'm asking is, who's going to step up and make it right? If you want to attack, attack. If that's going to be your role, look at it. And again, I'm not here to tell you what to do. Please do whatever's in your best interest. But if you come in for anybody, again, that's all I'm saying. I didn't expect this. I mean, dude, names are at the end of text messages. Names are at the end of text messages. Words were written. Words were said. Allegations were made. That's the whole deal. And the point is that it wasn't even the people who are doing the worst here. We're talking about the worst here are people who haven't even done anything wrong. They're not being accused of anything. Their reputation is not on the line. They didn't do any harm to anyone. It was how they behaved after the fact in this case. All that had to, I'm looking at all of this and I'm just going, this is, I always go back to that scenario. I always say, if you ever were walking down the street and you saw this kid run out into the middle of the street and you didn't grab the kid to keep them from getting hit by a car because your attitude was, not my kid. I don't want to get involved. None of my business. You see the actual event taking place and you say nothing. Or when you're asked about it, you act like you didn't see anything. I don't want to get involved. It's none of my business. I can get it if two adults in a skirmish and you don't want to get involved. I get all that. You see a husband and wife out on the street arguing and he's being, volatile. She's being volatile. No hands. No punching or attacking one another physically, but they're just arguing. I can get it. You get out of there. I don't want to get involved in that. Too icky. I get it. But something like this? Nah. I can't say I can't look at this from your point of view. And why would you expect us to? You can't make a claim like this. Inaccurate. Someone was arrested. Someone was officially charged. This looks like a dropping of the ball. This looks like mistakes were made. Own up. No, and I don't say this to be dismissive, but it'll blow over. Do better the next time. That's what mistakes are about. People are willing to forgive mistakes. We apologize. We screwed up. Now, if this is something where you don't want to take ownership because you're going to worry about other things, just remember what you're doing that in the name of. That's all I'm saying. Just think about what you're doing that in the name of. Just at the end of the day, let's just go to our morals. We're talking about people who are religious leaders, people who are supposed to be showing the way to everybody else in the country, if not in the town. They're supposed to be our thought leaders, our religious leaders, protectors. When it turns out that the only person you're protecting is yourself, that's not good for business. And I don't know how you have good standing with yourself. I just don't. Like I said, and this is probably going to be the most crazy part. I'm going to say this. I have recordings. I have conversations. I've listened to them for the beginning of the show. I've listened to them. You're going to lose badly. You should have made it right ahead of time. You should have made it right. But now it's too late. We'll take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
How did you get your tripping breakers fixed so fast?
AL Home Services, same day electrical. I gave them a call and they had a technician on their way. They even sent the technician's real-time location so I knew when they would be here.
Did you say same day? That's crazy.
If you need same-day electrical, call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO, call for details. Licensed for safety. P10277688, D10401465, E11856443, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM 3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
The Peace Lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30, 70 degrees and sunny skies in Hartford. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. There's been a shakeup in President Trump's cabinet barely 3 months into his second term.
CBS News special report. President Trump has removed National Security Advisor Mike Waltz from his post and nominated him to be ambassador to the United Nations, a move CBS News chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett says is clearly a demotion. Here's CBS News military consultant Jeff McCausland.
It does look very disruptive. Most administrations have a certain amount of stability, though it's because of the difficulty of the job. It's not uncommon, in my mind, looking back historically, for a president to go through a couple of national security advisors.
CBS's Ed O'Keefe says far-right Trump supporters have long wanted Waltz out.
In recent weeks, there have been conservative or MAGA activists clamoring to have Waltz and his team removed from the National Security Agency, claiming that they are insufficiently pro-Trump, represent the neoconservative wing of the Republican Party that used to reign when George W. Bush was president and Dick Cheney was vice president and the war in Iraq was raging.
Waltz still has to be confirmed to the UN post by the Senate. CBS News special report. I'm Christopher Cruz.
Now, Trump's also threatening sanctions on anyone who buys Iranian oil. That warning comes after planned talks between the U.S. and Iran over Tehran's rapidly advancing nuclear program were postponed. Trump wrote on social media today that all purchases of Iranian oil or petrochemical products must stop now. Republicans back here have unveiled what they're calling a reality check state budget. Among other things, the 2-year package deals with high electric rates, calls for a wage freeze for state employees, and keeps spending in check, they say. South Windsor police have arrested 3 men in connection with a police pursuit. They say they were alerted to a stolen vehicle early this morning on Route 5. The 3 are facing interfering and other charges. Connecticut's Inspector General says a police shooting of a suspect in West Haven in December of 2023 was justified. They say Jovan Washington pulled a gun on them as they were about to arrest him in a Terrace Avenue home December 1st, 2023. Washington was shot 3 times. Police were called after a woman said she was being choked by Washington. And North America's 3 biggest measles outbreaks have grown to a total of 2,500 known cases. 3 people have died in the U.S., 1 in Mexico. Mexico and U.S. officials say the strains of measles spreading in Canada match the other large outbreaks. WTIC News Time is 3:33. We'll keep the sunshine for the balance of the afternoon. Low 70s for the high today. A couple of showers around here, maybe a thunderstorm tonight in the low 50s. Warm with clouds and sun. Becomes breezy in the afternoon with a thunderstorm possible. Upper 70s. And we cool things down a bit as we head into the weekend. Currently 70 in Hartford. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 276 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How do you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text ENERGY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone-boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text ENRGY to 42424. That's ENERGY to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Do you know about the true crimes that inspired a Bruce Springsteen album? Or the murders AC/DC was blamed for? How about Taylor Swift's Violent Stalkers? Or the suspicious deaths of Brittany Murphy and River Phoenix? These stories and more are told in the Disgraceland podcast, hosted by me, Jake Brennan, every Tuesday, where I dive deep into subjects from the dark side of music history and entertainment. So follow and listen to Disgraceland on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's the difference between Allaire Elder Law and most elder planning services? Allaire Elder Law is a law firm, which means we can advise you on asset protection and next step planning to avoid probate and protect the other spouse for their future needs. For example, after working to protect assets from the Medicaid spouse, the healthy spouse needs a special will to keep protecting things in future. With other services, if you're just getting the Medicaid application and not necessary legal documents or strategies, you're getting much less, and often for the same price. Medicaid processing companies can be slow. They may sound like a good deal, but a lot of times they put the work on the family's shoulders, which could mean it takes more time, which costs money when paying for care. Our job is education as much as execution. Finally, please ask the question, are you being referred to a Medicaid planning service for the right reasons, or might they be steering you? I'm Haley Allaire. For comprehensive senior planning for your family, the right choice is Allaire Elder Law, compassionate counsel, and proven results. AllaireElderLaw.com.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting rules for recurring. Message and data rates may apply. Play stop, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
For New Year's, I wanted to try Ozempic, Wegovy, or other GLP-1 medications everyone's talked about. I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelfie can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with Zelfie?
Just send them a text.
Text DATE to 200-300 to get started this New Year's with Zelfie. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic for 80 to less. 100% online. Don't wait. Text DATE to 200-300 right now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text DATE to 200-300. DATE to 200-300.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Yeah, I saw that news too about, what's his name, Mike Walls. I kind of felt like that was coming with all of that attention to the signal thing. I'm glad Trump didn't fire him out, just shuffling decks, shuffling chairs. I kind of, I thought that was interesting as well. Don't forget, telephone number is 860-522-WTIC, 9842. I got plenty of stuff to get into today. Negro Nonsense coming up. I want to talk a little bit about, in the next hour, HB 7213. I thought something was interesting in that House bill that many people might be ignoring. I know what the focus was on yesterday. So many people were calling about it. But it's like, oh, this House bill means that any healthcare provider can provide, abortion services to anyone. This is one of those things where I say some people get focused on one thing and miss something else. There's something else in this bill that's also very alarming. So we'll get to that in a 4 o'clock hour. So I hope I get you folks on the phone to discuss that in and around that time. Also, there's an article in the Connecticut Post about Donald Trump and his targeting of sanctuary cities, which I find weird because William Tong is saying that Connecticut does not adhere to the sanctuary city or sanctuary state guidelines, yet Justin Elliker is saying that New Haven is a sanctuary city. So which is it? I find that odd. Yet, also in this Connecticut Post article written by Alex Putterman, again, I hate criticizing these reporters because they take it personal, and it's a critique for the betterment of your writing. Okay? You got to stop being a stenographer. If you're going to write this long piece, which is 7 pages long, only because of ads and other stuff, but if you're going to write all of this stuff, if you are really given creative license, you can't write stuff like this and not push back if you get a quote from the mayor, Mayor Elliker, that is. And we'll talk about that as well, because this one paragraph begs the question, how do you expect the feds to do their job in a local jurisdiction, Mayor Elliker? And I'm going to pose this question. I'll get it out now. William Tong, Ned Lamont, the police department in Hartford, New Haven, Bridgeport, anywhere. The detective units in any of those police departments. I ask one question. Are there any active investigations into human, labor, or sex trafficking by illegals in the state? Any. Because I know that there's a drug unit. You know there is. I'm pretty sure that there's a prostitution or sex trafficking unit in these police departments. Are there any active investigations into widespread human, labor, or sex trafficking by illegals in the state? You know it's happening. It is a national problem that is happening locally. I mean, that's the reason why it's a national problem, because it's happening locally in each state and each city, especially where many illegals dwell, especially in places that give these individuals safe harbor. Right? Because remember what we're all supposed to be doing, keeping them and the community safe. Right? We do not want to make it unsafe for undocumented, as they call them, in their community. We don't want them to be vulnerable to crime in these communities, that they are protecting them from being arrested, if not grabbed up by the feds. And if these folks are innocent, family-loving members of our society, I would assume that law enforcement is putting every effort in making sure that none of these people are in harm's way, be it MS-13, Tren de Aragua, Mexican cartels, Mexican mafias, none of that. I am sure that there are active investigations in preventing that in these communities, or not. Now, in my humble opinion, I know it's not happening. And I'm not crapping on the cops for that, but let's be honest. What Justin Elliker says here, listen to this. I'm going to read it to you. His quote in this article, which I immediately took pause on. As soon as I read it, I just went, what? Nobody pushed back on that? I would have asked him a follow-up. Here's what he says, quote, "We should not be required to do the job of the federal government. Our department has enough to worry about with the work that they are doing to confront crime. We should not be asked to do more work because the federal government is unable to do that work." Who would be better to assist the federal government about local crime, who the gangsters are, who the pimps are, who the traffickers are, who the bigwigs are in the drug game? Who would be able to tell them better than local police? I mean, unless Justin Elliker is suggesting the feds buy a building in New Haven, perhaps go out on patrols on their own. You don't believe that your local police should be doing this job, that you don't want to help the feds because you believe that the only thing the feds do is just run around grabbing illegals off the street? What about Joint Task Force involvement? How about DEA? That's the federal government. What if you got a big, giant, fat cat drug pin in New Haven? You don't want to cooperate with the DEA? How about there's a gun runner in town? ATF rolls through. You don't help them? You don't assist them either? Nobody asked that question. Nobody thought to. Everybody was so myopic, so one-sided on this and just say, yeah, that makes sense. Don't help the feds. The police have their own problems to deal with. Not one person thought to ask that question. And it still won't be asked even after I brought it up. No one will. Now, I'm going to be a little critical. Republicans, get on your job. This is a wide open, you understand this? This is like huge. This is a big, giant hole in their entire argument. What do they mean they're not going to help the federal agents? What do they mean? Does this include the ATF? Does this include DEA? What if somebody is in the town that is bleeding that town dry through fentanyl or all types of other opioids? You know New Haven's got a plethora of death due to fentanyl overdoses. You know it. So what happens? Does the local police not assist in getting that off the street? Because you've got too much to do? Somebody should answer for that. Justin Elliker should have an answer for that. The writer should have asked, but they won't. This whole article, it reeks of activism. Just read the first paragraph. Check this out. President Donald Trump is once again targeting sanctuary cities, and the effects of his newest executive order could reach Connecticut. In an order announced Monday, Trump instructed Attorney General Pam Bondi to compile a list of jurisdictions the administration views as providing sanctuary to undocumented immigrants and pledged to withhold federal funds for those cities and states wherever possible. Though it's not yet clear if Connecticut or any of its cities would qualify under the Trump administration's definition, the president and his allies have frequently criticized the sorts of policies in place here, which restrict cooperation with immigration and customs enforcement. This is an ad for Connecticut's sanctuary city. This isn't even journalism anymore. This is nothing more than a PR firm. I'm always stunned by this. People should be ashamed of themselves. Yeah, I understand that there are rhinos in here. Don't get me wrong. I get that, Lori. But again, I'm saying just collectively, whoever is in a Republican Party, you know who you are. You've got a loud megaphone. You're making news, but you have got to look. No offense, but you got to go up there with a camera. Go up there with your cell phone. You can get a meeting with Justin Elliker. You can call Elliker on the phone. And you can say, hey, Mayor, such and such here. I need to ask you a question. Apparently, you don't want to help the Trump administration and the federal government because your police have too much to do. Does this include the DEA and the ATF? And what they do, those are all federal. Are you not assisting them to get drugs off the street? You know you have a drug problem in New Haven. You know you got a gun problem in New Haven. You know you got a crime problem in New Haven. You got people committing federal crimes. What are you going to do? You're going to reject their help, their assistance? You're not going to assist them in those arrests? Is that what we're talking about here? Get them on camera. Ask them right now. Get them on the record. And then ask his constituents what they think of it. I understand everything is done inside City Hall, but that's not where life is. That's not where the world is. The world is outside that door. And no offense, but you're clearly not going to clear this up in the news media. You got to get on the ground. And I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know who's going to take that charge. I don't know, but it's got to get done. It's got to get done. Otherwise, just sit back and just have your ass handed to you. With all due respect. Just sit back and lose every one of these elections. Sit back and lose every one of these fights because you're not willing to take it to the street. This fight goes to the street. It must be dealt with in the street. Nobody fights in offices. It's got to be fought on the ground. Boots on it. Yesterday. We'll take a break. I'll be back. More news, more views. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Here's the hard truth. Every 6 years, your dollar loses half its buying power. That means a $100,000 savings account today could feel like $50,000 by 2031. And you see it every time you fill up your tank, buy groceries, or pay the bills. Prices are up. Your dollar is down. But there's a simple way to protect the value of your savings with something real, something proven. Gold, an asset that holds its value over time. That's why I trust Noble Gold Investments. They make it simple to protect your savings with physical gold or silver. No high-pressure sales, no call centers, just honest guidance, one-on-one support, and transparent pricing. And right now, when you open a qualified account, Noble Gold will send you a free 10-ounce silver American flag bar as a thank you. Head to noblegoldinvestments.com today to learn more. That's noblegoldinvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio.
How does Ralph and Adam always call at the exact same time every day?
I don't know.
They call. Are they friends or something?
I don't know.
Too much
No, they
hassle,
always
think you
just
don't
call
need
the
it?
beginning
There's
of
lots
the
of
show
excuses
because
for
I think
putting
they
off
like to
life
hear
insurance.
themselves on
But
the
if you
air.
weren't there,
I'm
who would
not
pay the
going to
mortgage
them
and
today.
other bills? With Ethos, you could
Like every time one calls, the other one is right behind. I'm like, they got to be friends or something.
term life insurance, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-800.
Yeah, Tim.
Visit a store near you or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
It's Reese on the Radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, let's go to the phones, 860-522-WTIC. Bill is in Southington. I'm sorry. Hi, Bill. How are you?
Good afternoon, Reese. I'm doing well. So does this mean that the state government, when you go to purchase a firearm or get a pistol permit, that they no longer contact the FBI?
Such a good point.
For their federal background check? Or is that just up to the state government to decide when we'll play the game and when we won't?
Exactly. You know, see, Bill, this is why I love this audience. That's the brilliance of this. Because, again, as a reporter, you would have been far well suited in the role of this journalist than the journalist was. Because that's the first thing that would have come to your mind, just going, wait a minute, no cooperation with the federal government. There are tons of things that the state has to deal with the federal government. In particular, what did we just have to, what was it, on the 7th? 6 days from now, every driver's license now has to be a real ID. Is that not federal? That's a federal program, right. Okay?
Right.
So
they want to pick and choose as to when and where they comply because they have more authority than the federal government, is what they believe to be.
Exactly. And this picking and choosing, that's the great way to describe it. This picking and choosing of which federal government the state is going to placate or at least involve itself with is the big problem. This stuff is like, you know, people use this term loosely, but I can't help but say it. There's almost like this secession sort of attitude by these states. Would you agree? At least to some effect? Bill, did I lose you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Would you agree that in some ways this is sort of like a secession from the union in some way? Because I feel like there's
that's exactly what it is. What needs to happen is they need the full weight of the federal government to come down on this state and tell Ting Tong and the rest of his cronies, including Lamont, you're playing by the rules or we're going to have some serious trouble here.
Yeah.
You won't be just complaining about the freebie benefits that you're not getting any longer. We're going to bring charges against all of you.
Yeah, exactly. That's, again, this not cooperating with the federal government, because I would just say, and then demanding that the federal government give them everybody else's tax dollars. It's ridiculously insane. But that's where we are at this point. So
keep up the great work, Reese.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Have a good one. Yeah, it's crazy to even think these people would do that. It's insane. And again, I don't understand how you don't just ask that question. What do you mean you're not going to cooperate with the federal government? We have plenty of federal coordination going on a regular basis. And this picking and choosing where you're going to take from the government and decide what you're going to assist the government on, this is bogus. And the thing and the hill that they're going to stand on is about illegals? Like I said, I don't know. And I know these reporters are touchy, obviously. But, stenographers get no real burn here. They get ostracized. It ain't that easy. When we come back the next hour, we'll talk about HB 7213, House Bill 7213, an act concerning access to reproductive health care, they're calling it. And what I found alarming about that, plus your phone calls, 860-522-WTIC. Let's get a first check of the weather and traffic. Jason Caterina's got your weather, and Mark Christopher is back in the BPS Traffic Center. Welcome home, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Reese. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. This traffic report is being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. 91 northbound, we have a crash between exit 23 and 24. Looks like the left lane is out there, so look for delays starting to build behind that. on the northbound side of I-91. After that, good ride into Hartford. South of 91, you've got delays from exit 34 down to 32A and B. South of downtown, you're moving well. If you're westbound 84, tied up 56 Governor Street up to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound is slowing now as you move up on 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley Bridge. On the left shoulder at exit 44, we have a crash there. Middletown 9 northbound delays Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. Northbound Parkway, we have a crash up by exit, looks like it's between exit 66 and 67. And that has the left lane blocked there. Delays are approaching 66 behind that. And another accident, 84 eastbound in Waterbury. Tractor trailer and a vehicle in the right lane up by exit 18. You've got delays approaching exit 17 behind that. Stuck in traffic again, don't waste another minute. Columbia Implant Center in Manchester gets you in and out fast, often in just one day, open 7 days a week. Get your smile back now. Columbia Implant Center, ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, the rest of our Thursday afternoon, a nice day with a blend of sun and clouds, the high of 72. Tonight, it becomes overcast with a couple of showers, the low down to 53. Cloudy, very warm with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm Friday. Breezy in the afternoon, a high up to 81. Partly cloudy, mild Friday night, the low 59. Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Some of those storms could produce flooding, downpours, and localized damaging wind gusts, the high of 76. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Many who turned out for a May Day rally at the state capitol came to protest the actions of the Trump administration. But union members and others who were there say the state of Connecticut can also do a better job governing for the working class. Colina Seasanker is a professor at Gateway Community College. She's calling for more education funding.
Higher ed, oh my goodness, right? For sure. K through 12, more layoffs have been announced in Hartford and Bridgeport over the past few. We know that we can't keep up with what we need to do for, just raising Connecticut's future and for the state.
She says Gateway Community College is running low on faculty, staff, librarians, tutors, and more. The rally also called for better wages for 5,500 nursing home workers who delivered strike notices to the governor's office today. Well, barely 3 months in, President Trump is shifting his embattled national security advisor to another post. CBS's Linda Kenyon is at the White House.
The announcement on Truth Social came several hours after Waltz was ousted as National Security Advisor. There was no mention at the time of keeping him within the administration. Political analyst Larry Sabato says that could have been a problem.
Waltz was a staunch defender of Ukraine, at least he was when he was in Congress, and one suspects he made some of those arguments behind the scenes in the White House.
On social media, Waltz said, "I'm deeply honored to continue my service to President Trump and our great nation." Secretary of State Marco Rubio will serve as interim National Security Advisor. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Republicans at the state capitol have come out with their version of what a state budget should look like. The $54.4 billion spending plan is being dubbed a reality check budget. It calls for less spending than proposals put forth by Governor Lamont and Democrats. Leaders say it comes in under the spending cap while providing tax relief for residents and businesses. State Representative Tammy Nuccio, ranking member on the Appropriations Committee, says it also addresses electricity costs.
We are going to be reducing the public benefit fee by about 25% and putting that amount into the general budget and a small piece into bonding for the EV chargers. We're providing tax relief to our towns through committing to fund the excess cost grant at the tiered levels.
State House Speaker Matt Ritter.
There's going to be budget fighting, but at the end of the day, we'll pass a good budget, which will have three cornerstones to it, I believe. One is preparing for federal cuts that may or may not happen. We'll be ready for them if they do. There's so much money that came in yesterday that we now could probably still prepay our pension obligations, right, with that extra $500 million.
The State Office of Policy and Management projecting a $462 million surplus. The legislative session ends June 4th. Federal judge has ruled the Trump administration can't use the Alien Enemies Act to detain and deport alleged Venezuelan gang members. Meantime, Democrats on the Hill have a resolution to rein in the president's immigration moves. Senator Chuck Schumer.
Donald Trump is deporting American citizens with no due process. A threat against one is a threat against all.
In an arrest in connection with a fatal boating accident last year on Candlewood Lake in Brookfield, Encon police say Robert McDonald of Flushing, New York, is charged. It was last May 29th. The Department of Energy and Environmental Protection says a woman was pulled from the water with injuries sustained in a propeller strike. The victim, identified as 20-year-old Rosalind Blanco. McDonald is charged with reckless operation of a vessel and reckless endangerment. He's free on bond, due in court May 14th. And Bradley International Airport is announcing a new regional flight, as we hear from WTIC's Morgan Cunningham.
The Connecticut Airport Association announces that JetBlue has launched its inaugural nonstop flight from Bradley International Airport to New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport as of this morning. The service to JFK will operate daily, year-round. It's intended to help passengers in Connecticut access a larger network of flights while allowing passengers to enjoy the convenience of Bradley. Passengers on that inaugural flight this morning were able to take part in a little celebration before takeoff. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
On Wall Street, the Dow up 83 points, NASDAQ up 264, S&P up 35. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Coverage varies by plan, view contracts and exclusions. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
It's Reese on the Radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, very soon, Negro Nonsense coming up. Personal story. I've got to get out, so make sure that you stay around for that. Plus, we got a whole bunch of news and views. We'll talk about H.R. Bill 7213, as well as some other lawsuits that are going on in the William Tong administration as well. Oh, and I've got some new polling data that's actually pretty good to check out. And Dr. Fauci news, which Tulsi Gabbard just revealed a little while ago. We got some tape of that. So we got plenty of stuff to get into, so stick around for that. I know that it's over. I won't mention it again, but again, I want to make sure that I take this time to thank the folks at Between Rounds, our sponsor, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. I want to thank them for doing the month-long Reese's Peanut Butter and Jelly sandwich purchase and get $1 to go to the Friendly Hands Food Bank. Our good friends, Karen Thomas, who is a friend to this room, and I consider her like a sister. Love her to death, and she has been with me since I got here day one. Mike the mailman hooked me up with her, and we have been thick as thieves ever since. So I appreciate her. I want to let her know that whenever I get the opportunity to help out the Friendly Hands Food Bank, I will take advantage of it. I hope that this turned out to be well, do well, I should say. And I want to thank the Between Rounds, I should say, for facilitating this opportunity for them. And they'll probably contact me, let me know. I'm going to get in touch with them soon enough to let them know. Yeah. So when we get back, we'll take your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. And, yeah, that's it. Yeah, let's get another check of the weather and traffic. Jason Catarina, of course, has your weather. And Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, bud.
Hi, Reese. Thank you very much. Well, 84 eastbound, you've got an accident right by 44 Prospect Oakwood on the eastbound side of 84. Looks like the left lane, left shoulder blocked right now. So look for delays kicking back toward exit 43. Behind that, westbound 84 is tied up, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to exit 47. Sigourney Street, 91 southbound delays, 35 down to 32 A and B. We have a crash 91 northbound in Rocky Hill between exit 23 and 24. Left lane, left center lane blocked, stay to the right, delays back to 23. Behind that, 9 northbound Middletown slowing 22 up to the Aragoni Bridge. Northbound Parkway, we have a crash in Meriden up by exit 67. And that is taking out the left lane, delays back to 66 in Wallingford behind that. And another crash in 84 eastbound in Waterbury up by exit 18. It looks like a tractor trailer and a vehicle there. Right lane is blocked. Delays are approaching exit 17 behind that. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, for tonight, overcast with a couple of showers and thunderstorms. The low down to 52. Very warm with a mix of clouds and sun for our Friday. Breezy in the afternoon with a thunderstorm around with the high up to 79. Partly cloudy, mild Friday night. The low 59 on Saturday. A cloudy day with a couple of showers and thunderstorms. Those storms could produce flooding downpours and some localized damaging wind gusts. The high of 76. Cloudy, not as warm with a couple of showers on Sunday, but the high still 70. Right now, it is, 65 in Waterbury, 69 in Danbury, 59 in Bridgeport, and 69 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Wisdom teeth giving you trouble? Columbia Dental's expert oral surgeons specialize in comfortable and efficient wisdom tooth removal. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
This Cinco de Mayo weekend, let's keep our community safe from drunk driving. If you celebrate a little too much, use a rideshare or designated driver. Amigos, don't let amigos drive drunk. Think before you drink. From your friends at Carter Mario Injury Lawyers.
Slow? Clogged? Backed up? Don't worry. ALO Home Services has you covered. For only $93, our technician will clear any drain in your home. And if it can't be cleared, it's free. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, D10401465, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
When you haven't won, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your .com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the Radio, on News Talk 1080, WTIC.
To the phones we go, 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Sean in Meriden. Hey, Sean.
Oh, that Chris Murphy thing always kills me. And it always comes on like right before I call.
What do you got going on, buddy?
Well, one of the things that I would like you to find out, because I don't know, because I haven't been able to find this out, what are all these lawsuits that President Trump is getting sued? What is it costing the consumer?
That's the
because it's
right.
going to be costing us something.
You're 100% right, because the government has inexhaustible resources to fight all of these challenges. They just use the government coffers, right? They use taxpayer money to fight these cases. So if you really think about it, William Tong is costing the taxpayers thousands, if not millions of dollars by running around here throwing a lawsuit at every chance they get, which I wish someone, it's so poignant or so evident in all of this, Sean, that should be used as a reference to William Tong and Letitia James, for that matter. You guys are costing the taxpayer money by forcing the Trump administration to go to court.
to spend all that money for 2 years, like for example, going after Trump, you spent all that money and then it got dismissed. So basically, for 2 years you threw money away and added to your coffer, your personal coffers, while costing everybody else money.
He's exactly right, because William Tong is using taxpayer money. He's using taxpayer money to take Donald Trump to court as well.
Okay, right. Okay, that was just an aside. Real quick. Well, and I know you haven't mentioned anything about the reproductive rights. That really should be called too stupid to plan for anyone who does that, because basically you haven't even planned on. I'm in the moment. I don't want to care about that. And if you get pregnant, we'll just kill it.
You know what? Let me read.
But I was.
Go ahead, Sean.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, finish up, Sean.
No, the key thing that you were talking about was the rate in New Haven and them not wanting to cooperate with the federal government, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. I just did some research. I'm going to read this verbatim. I don't like reading it verbatim, but I want to be accurate. It says the rate of fatal overdoses in New Haven is about 3 times higher than the state average, and has been sharply increasing since 2020. And in specific, in 2021 to 2022, 2021 there was 147. 2022 there was 154. Now 3 times that rate. 2015 to 2023 was 788 overdoses in deaths, and it has it broken down by state. 124 in Haddam, 44 in New Haven, 3 in Woodbridge. And 602 in New Haven. 602 in New Haven.
Damn.
So they have all the information. They just don't care because they're a sanctuary city.
Indeed. And you were absolutely right. That those fentanyl overdoses are due to trafficking from the southern border, making it a federal issue, a federal crime. And again, that statistic you just broke down is exactly my point. So if DEA wants to crack down on that, the question is, Justin Elliker, would you assist them in cracking down on that illegal activity, that drug activity? And according to them, at least according to this article, they don't believe they have to. So,
and if you don't, then what you're telling the small dealers and the users is it's okay.
Exactly.
And we don't really care about you. If you drop dead, well, that's your issue, but we're not going to protect you from you. And that is truly a crime against humanity.
Yep. It is.
And if you're willing to do that, that's why abortion is no big deal to anybody like that. Because killing 1 million people a generation, a year, no problem. But you want to get an illegal alien who beat his wife back in the United States. It's Alice in Wonderland.
You're 100% right. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you. Let's go to Fulton in Waterbury. Hey, Fulton.
Hey, what's going on? So I was boots on the ground today at that protest.
Okay.
Hartford. So I can give you. I know last time they said there was a lot of people. It was probably 200 people at the most.
Okay.
And it was very strange. It was very set up. It was tense, where you kind of went up to your group of people, and it looked like somebody was organizing it. And there was probably 5 distinct groups that were there that were handing out signs. And
now this protest didn't have.
There was the Ukraine people. There was the blue hair, big girl people. There was the LBG people. There was union people. And they all had their own little tents, and they all had their own little moments.
Okay, so everybody there, there was not. Fulton, can you hear me? Fulton, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to cut in. So my interjection. No, that's okay.
I'm a hog.
It's okay. My interjection here is me injecting here. I wanted to understand. So this wasn't one constructive protest. This was just 200 people with their own separate protests inside that group. Is that correct?
So it was probably instead of 2, so it was probably 5 groups of 200 people.
Okay.
So whatever, 20 people each. One had Ukraine. One was angry about more pay or immigrants, and then there was that. So that was about the crew of it.
Okay, so this wasn't very structured at all. This seemed to be, and it's supposed to be a May Day protest.
There was an organized thing of it that people went to, because I went up to, because I actually got out of my car my video's in the car. I happen to be in Hartford, and I was like, whoa, this is I can't. I have to see what's going on here.
Okay, so
I
you
gotta
did
talk
get
to
a
these
you
people.
did get a video
So
of this.
I got out, and I started to be like, what, I try to be like a wolf in sheep clothing. I was like, well, I'm mad too. What we're here for the protest, and then some people were like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, well, I'm really mad. What are you guys mad about? And one guy was like, it's terrorism, like all angry. Guy had tattoos. I think he had a tattoo. That said,
Stop,
like, I hate my
Fulton.
mom
Listen to
over
me.
God.
Stop for a second, Fulton.
And he
Fulton,
figured
listen to
why I
me.
couldn't get a job, but that was
Fulton,
probably it.
you
So
can't.
then
I know
was like, I
you're
hate
not
that
hearing me
too.
very well. He doesn't hear me very well. Fulton, I got to put you on hold because you can't hear me. I need you to put you on hold. I need you to hear me. All right, stand by real quick because I need you to hear me. Now listen.
I got you.
What you just did was absolutely brilliant. Okay, this is brilliant. Now I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell everybody else. This is
Hang on. Listen, I'm in a drop. So go ahead. Can you hear me?
I want everybody to listen to me, and what Fulton did is exactly what you should be doing. Okay, this goes to Mark in West Hartford too. What he did is exactly what you're supposed to do to infiltrate. Go there and pretend to be down with whatever cause they're for. Yeah, I'm angry too. What are you mad about? They will let you in on everything because they want people to listen to them. They are desperate 5-year-olds. Just go out there and go, yeah, rah, sis, boom, bah. Tell them that you're down for the cause. Even hold up a sign. This is how you infiltrate them. You get there, you put on your thing and recording. Yeah, man, we're down with whatever ridiculous. And they will give you everything. Everything. Hey, man, I'm posting live at the protest for such and such, down with Donald Trump. And they'll be like, yeah. And then that's it. They'll give up the goods. And you'll find out everything. Hey, who's organizing this? I just came by because I heard you guys were doing it. Is there an organizer? They will lead you right to them. Take me to your leader. They'll do it. So, Fulton, in the future, that's what I want you to do. I want you to go to these rallies and pretend you're down with whatever cause it is and get film. Now, I'm going to put you on hold because I'm going to find a way to get that film from you, okay?
Absolutely. Yes,
all right,
sir.
hold on. Okay, let's go to Fred in Middletown real quick. Hey, Fred.
Hey. So I just wanted to drop a quick thing that I'm calling it a kill shot.
Yes.
Where you're saying, Justin Elliker, are you going to do business with any feds, ATF, FBI, DEA?
Yeah.
That's a kill shot.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, no cowardly commie politician is ever going to come on your show again. And not that the journalists who, pander to them will either, but I would start inviting those people on. You just might get a few, because like you just said, these people, everyone wants to be heard. And, as much as the journalist is an interviewer, it's like, oh, the spotlight on me. Yeah, right. I would start inviting these journalists on.
I did. That's why I got David.
Like,
I got David Haar here just for that reason. I mean, the usual guys come on in a heartbeat. Daily Caller will come in. Chris Powell will come on.
Oh no, I mean scumbag journalists. I mean,
no, I agree.
The
No,
Daily Caller is good.
yeah. No. I've had
yeah.
David Haar on as well because he's a big Trump hater, and we had. I should probably post that interview online because again, these guys are more columnists than they are journalists. But this guy who wrote this article, getting a quote from Justin Elliker, and you hear a guy say, the police have enough problems on their hands, so they're not going to assist the feds. In my head, I'm going, really? So the police are handling like international or interstate drug trafficking? Is that what's going on? Because I know New Haven police isn't doing that.
Yeah, the police assisting the feds and the feds assisting the police. It's it's just the only way it's going to work.
And Fred, let's not ignore the most ironic part of all of this. Where's the FBI headquarters in Connecticut?
Probably in New Haven, I guess.
Yes,
Middletown?
In New Haven. It's sitting in New Haven. So there you are, right? In the backdrop of the federal agency that you, in essence, you would need assistance from. They're right there. And you telling them, we don't work with them.
Closing shot. William Tong, point blank, called the FBI kidnappers. And Tom today said, so they kidnapped a kidnapper? That's the problem? That's what the guy was in court for. They spent all the time about the police couture, and then on you were kidnapping.
Yeah. It's insanity.
All right.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
That's how crazy this is. That's how crazy all of this is. Insanity. Hey, Roland, I'm going to give you an email address to Fulton to send to him. In fact, you know my email address, right? Roland?
Yep.
Okay, can you give that to Fulton so he can send me the video and we'll see if we can chop it up as best we can. Let me take one more. I'll take White Mike. What's going on? I'm calling in early today. What's going on, sir?
Hey, man. So kind of on the pedophile topic. I saw
that's
a
fine.
news story just today that there was another one of these stings where online predators were busted. And then I'm looking at the people who got busted, and it's a bunch of guys who are basically like not attractive at all.
Yeah.
Right. You know, a bunch of Peter Griffins and Reginald Bell Johnson.
Is this the story about the former Democrat congressional candidate in Georgia who got caught up in the sting?
No, I didn't see that one, but there were a bunch, and they led with one guy was an HVAC tech. But looking at these people and reading what's going on is like, I kind of don't think that there's that many predators who are being successful online.
Right.
And I think that there's probably more scammers or more stings catching idiots than there are actual successful predators. Because the way these things always go is it's some like person pretending to be a 13 or a 14-year-old girl.
Right.
And they're inviting this ugly old dude over to their house. And I'm like, I don't think that happens.
Well, okay. I know you don't think that it happens. First of all, I'm with you to this degree, right? In my head, I'm going to myself, come on, man. That To Catch a Predator show was awfully successful, right? It's like everybody knew. Like you could live under a rock and know who Chris Hansen is. You know what I mean? So it seemed odd that this is still happening.
Shane Gillis had a bit about it. He said, all it seems to catch is autistic dudes and Indian immigrants.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Like people who really like are the most novice at using the internet. Is that
and again, dude, if it was catching like good-looking 19-year-old male college students, I would say, maybe that guy's really chasing 14-year-olds and he's got some success. But I don't think these guys are going to be able to like charm some 14-year-old into a house visit.
What if, yes, that much I understand. But what if these guys are just absolutely, I mean, if they're just reprobate scum who are risk-taking because of the nature of the crime, that they're just reprobate scum? Like, what if that's...
But if they're a reprobate, but there's never a victim, and there's never a possibility of a victim because they're, guileless, gameless Peter Griffin lookalike.
Right.
I kind of have a weird feeling about it. It's like, I don't want to say it's entrapment, but it's kind of entrapment.
Yeah, I think you're okay. I hear what you're saying because you're saying that the focus is more of the nature of the intent. Is more like if you had actually caught the person with a 14-year-old, then we say, okay, you got to throw the book at that guy. But the sort of luring them to this, to what was never going to be a crime because of course it's a setup, right? It's saying that there's a degree of this. So let me explain to you why I'm asking that, because I had this story sitting here. I was going to talk about it. So according to this story, the Georgia former Democrat congressional candidate, right, who was caught up in this sting. Here's the interesting part. His name is Carl Sprayberry. He was charged in human trafficking. Now, when I saw that, I went, well, wait a minute. This was luring people to a place under the guise that there was going to be a child there. How did trafficking would have been actually, in my view, is taking an actual individual and trafficking them, smuggling them from state to state or from place to place. This seems like a stretch.
I guess you charge the John in that case with human trafficking because he's kind of an accessory to human trafficking.
Right.
But if there was never a hooker in the first place, I don't understand how that's a thing.
Yeah, it almost seems like attempted prostitution or attempted purchasing. It's a weird. I get your point though. It's sort of like a thin line. It's very, it's suspect in general.
Nobody's harmed, and
Yeah.
nobody was gonna be harmed.
I know, but you know what? You're gonna
Nah,
get.
fuck that. You going after a kid, you gotta get it. I don't know what he talking about.
I gotta take a break, Mike. I gotta go to a break. Let's get to another check. Let's get to another check of the weather and traffic with Mark Christopher and Jason Caterina in the BTS Traffic Center. Thanks, man.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're 91 northbound, we have a crash now between.
I don't care if a kid ain't there. The person thinks the kid is there and he's going there for some sexual shit. So get him the fuck out of here. What's wrong with this dude?
Up to 91 delays 34 down to 32 A and B.
That's
Slowing
what Mike.
again,
That's the
28
whole thing
down
about
to
Mike
exit
is
24 for the
he's looking
South
at this
Highway
from this
River
level
King,
of
that northbound
because there
crash.
was no
Westbound 84
person
tied up,
that the
approaching
person
the Vulture
involved in
Bridge out to
that just
45 flat,
reeling
push
them
84
in with
eastbound slowing a
no.
half mile before
It don't. He's a
I
yeah. They
agree
let
with
you
you.
know he's a fucking creep.
One up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. We have a crash 84 eastbound in Waterbury, and that is between exit 17, closer to 18.
This whole thing
tractor
was
trailer and a vehicle got tangled
these
up
charges
here.
that they
Right-lane
gave
blocked
them,
the
Roland,
Laserback
was like
exit
charged with
16
computer
in
and
Southbury behind that.
pornography,
And we have another accident
pornography,
northbound on
Okay.
and child
Parkway in Meriden. This
exploitation.
one is up by
And
exit
what's the other one
67.
here?
It's taken out
Yeah,
the
it's
left
all
lane.
computer
the Laserback
and
exit
electronic.
66 in Wallingford behind
So
that.
if they caught
Traffic
them
and weather
online
together on the
saying
WTIC News Talk 1080.
Right, if they're saying particular things.
Well, the rest of our Thursday
To
afternoon, a
the,
nice day with a blend of sun and clouds.
to
the
the
high of
alleged
72.
individual or the
Tonight,
police
it becomes
officer,
overcast
that's what
with
they're
a couple of
charging him
showers.
Gotcha.
No,
Green,
Richard, that was not
cloudy,
over the
very
air.
warm with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm Friday. The high up to 81. Partly cloudy, mild Friday night, the low 59. Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Some of those storms could produce flooding, downpours, and localized damaging wind gusts. The high of 76. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 4:30, Hartford temperature 70 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. And we start with Glastonbury police now charging a driver with negligent homicide in the death of a pedestrian last month. Incident occurred January 11th. Police say Michael Taylor hit one of three pedestrians attempting to cross Glastonbury Boulevard. Taylor is now free on bond, due in court on May 15th. Hundreds gathered at the state capitol today. They were on hand to protest labor and immigration policies of the Trump administration. A number of such rallies are taking place around the country today. Republicans at the Capitol have unveiled a budget of their own. Two-year spending plan totals over $54 billion, and leaders say it keeps spending in check through state employee wage freezes and cuts to agencies. State Office of Inspector General has issued a report on a 2023 officer-involved shooting in West Haven. The IG says the shooting of Jovan Washington was justified. They were called to the home on Terrace Avenue after the victim's mother says he tried to choke her daughter. When police told Washington he was under arrest, the report says he retrieved a gun from under a mattress. A struggle ensued. A police officer was wounded in the leg, and Washington was shot multiple times. President Trump has removed Mike Waltz as national security advisor. He was at the center of that Signal chat debacle where a report wound up in the thread with other high-level officials discussing a military strike. Waltz has now been tapped to be UN ambassador. Secretary of State Rubio will serve as acting NSA. And North Carolina football coach Bill Belichick defending his girlfriend Jordan Hudson for interjecting during CBS interviewers' questions about their relationship. Said she was simply doing her job. The six-time Super Bowl winning coach issued a statement through UNC. That followed an appearance on CBS Sunday Morning to promote his upcoming book. Wall Street. Dow finished up 83 points today. NASDAQ up 264. S&P up 35. Red Sox baseball on TIC tonight. They finish up a three-game series in Toronto against the Jays. 6:07 with the pregame immediately after the news. Arizona and the Mets doing battle at Citi Field. Eastern League, Chesapeake at Duncan Park to take on the Yard Goats. 7:10 first pitch. And in the NBA playoffs, the Knicks will try again to finish off Detroit. They lead that series 3-2, 7:30 tip-off from the Motor City. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Here at ALO, we believe hearing solutions to your main drain problems shouldn't cost a thing. That's why we offer free mainline drain camera inspections and free estimates on sewer line repair or replacement. Contact the trusted professionals at ALO when you call, click, or text today and say, "Hello, ALO." Call for details. Licensed for safety. P10277-688, D10401465, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM 3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
A successful retirement doesn't just happen. It requires a plan that is custom built to suit everyone's individual financial situation. Every Saturday at 3, we share vital information on how to build and live a successful retirement. It's On the Money with Jay Dorso. Retirement strategies on building income and proper protection from the pitfalls and the latest news in the retirement universe. On the Money with Jay Dorso, 3 p.m. this Saturday on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Seems everything costs more these days.
1 minute.
Trees, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we'll be doing Negro Nonsense in a little bit, so stand by for that. Let me get Ralph in here. He calls in very, very early. I'm trying to put him in other placement of the show. You always call at the beginning of the show when I'm trying to get all the show laid out. What do you got for me, Ralph?
Reese, I hope you hear me now. I had to move to a different room. Apparently, what room I'm in this house makes a difference if I get reception or not.
You got it. What's up?
It's unbelievable. Yesterday, talking about your buddy Walt, when he talked about the great things they did, the progressives, how is a great thing putting tampon machines in a boy's bathroom? How is that a great thing? How is letting men beat up women in sports a great thing?
He doesn't know.
I mean,
I know what you're talking about. That was when he was saying that, all the great things that he did in his state was part of the reason why he became the vice presidential candidate for Kamala Harris. And, of course, being able to code speak white, which I have no idea what that's about. But I've heard that term used before, code speak. But, yeah,
that's something I never heard of. And I would like to ask him, well, what exactly does that mean?
Code.
And we talked before. I'm sorry, Reese, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said to you before, and I said it 1,000 times, these reporters got to ask these people, please show me and the American people your proof.
Yeah.
Ask them, and they never, ever do it.
And
the only one that actually did do it was Trump when this reporter for ABC the other night, he says, where's your proof?
Yeah, Terry
What are you
Moran,
doing?
that was and I love the fact that he held Terry Moran's feet to the fire, saying that, catching him out there saying that he made a statement and then realized, it was like, you don't know whether or not there have been criminal referrals. What are you talking about? He was like, it's like, again, but to that effect, let me explain to you what that was about. These reporters who get these exclusives, these adversarial exclusives with Donald Trump, do you know what their mission statement is? They want to beat Donald Trump in this. They believe they're going in there and they're like being pugilists. Like they're going to get him off his guard and they're going to embarrass him in these. Instead of asking him questions that are important to the American people, they are trying to make names for themselves by trying to go in there and fight with Trump. That's why they lose. Terry Moran is not in the newspapers today behind that interview. He got the first 100 days interview. It lasted for about 8 hours and nobody cares anymore. And Terry Moran is no better for it, and he got no kudos because Donald Trump obviously took him to the woodshed the entire time. It embarrassed him. So that's where you are. Thank you, man. We'll get another check of the weather and traffic in a second. Negro Nonsense comes up very soon, and then we'll go over HB 7213. And your phone calls 860-522-WTIC. Let's get to that weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher, who is back now in his regular spot in the BPS Traffic Center. Welcome back, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Reese, and good afternoon to you. Northbound 91, we have a crash in Rocky Hill between exit 23 and 24. The left and the left center lane are blocked there. Stay right. If you are traveling 91 northbound, you'll see delays 22 up to the accident scene. After that, a good ride, Hartford up into Windsor. Southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Again, you're slowing from 28 in Hartford down to just about exit 24 in Rocky Hill, rubbernecking at that northbound crash. If you're traveling 84 eastbound, delays a half mile before 46th Avenue to the Bulkley. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. Route 2 eastbound's heavy off of I-84 out to the area of exit 3 in East Hartford. 2 westbound slows, 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. Now we have a crash in Waterbury, 84 eastbound, just prior to exit 18, and that is taking out the right lane there. Tractor trailer and a vehicle. Delays are approaching exit 16 in Southbury behind that. And another accident northbound on the Parkway. This is up by exit 67 in that construction area in Meriden. Left lane blocked with that one and delays back to 66 in Wallingford behind that. Traffic and weather together on the WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Quite a pleasant day for us as we head through tonight. It becomes overcast with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. The low down to 52. For Friday, very warm, a mix of clouds and sun. Breezy in the afternoon with a thunderstorm again. The high 79. Partly cloudy, mild Friday night. The low 59. Couple of showers and thunderstorms Saturday. Some of those storms could produce flooding, downpours, and localized damaging wind gusts. The high of 76. Cloudy, not as warm on Sunday, but realistically still warm. A couple of showers. The high of 74 is on Sunday. Right now, again, cooler along the water with the breeze coming off of the water in Bridgeport, 57, 55 in New London, 63 for New Haven, but it's 70 in Hartford right now. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Are you sick and tired of paying high prices for Continental tires? Then get to Town Fair Tire for the lowest price you'll find anywhere. Yes, the guaranteed lowest price on every Continental tire. Plus, at Town Fair, you get free services for life. Think about it. Why look anywhere else for Continental tires when Town Fair gives you the guaranteed lowest price plus free services for life? Nobody beats a Town Fair tire deal. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Johns Hopkins University found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia. So hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audion Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair. And they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health. And with over 1 million customers, Audion is easy to trust. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Are you a small business owner who needs immediate cash flow? At Swish Funding, we have flexible funding options from $25,000 to $2 million. For the best rates and terms for your business, just one application to Swish Funding gives you access to our entire network of funders, with cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. To qualify, you must be in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000. Apply at swishradio.com and use code RADIO. Swishradio.com,
Yes,
code
sir.
RADIO.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Let's get it done.
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare I? That boy just no good. He just ain't no good. Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. I've come to realize and come to recognize something. That I went on a very foolhardy mission, and I blame myself for this. So when I'm criticizing or making fun of Negro nonsense today. I'm making fun of myself. And I was under the impression that I could engage with the African-American audience here in Hartford and in Connecticut overall. And truth is, I cannot. And it is a foolish mission. It is ridiculous. It's dumb. It's silly on my part. Futile. And I did it for good reasons. And like my heart was in the right place. I don't want anybody to get the impression that I was doing it because I was trying to win accolades with any particular community. I don't want to serve anybody. Not trying to do that. I serve, God, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But I don't serve people or individuals or agendas. I don't do that. What I believe is what I believe. I'm nobody's puppet. And I'm definitely not going to be any puppet for any particular group of people. What I believe or what I know as a conservative, those are the things that I believe in. I hold people to account, and I talk about that on the air, and I share those ideas and ideals with you, and you convey them back to me. If you disagree with me, you disagree, and we hash that out. That's what we do here on the show. But I don't want anybody to get the impression that I am I'm not thirsty for any particular group's accolades, especially that of the African-American community. I am here for Americans. People believe in the experiment that is America, that anyone, even a schmo like me, can be successful in my own way. I don't get to be as rich as Elon Musk or Warren Buffett or Bill Gates. I don't get to be Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity or anyone else for that matter. The only person I get to be is me, and that is Reese on the Radio. I don't care about your blackness. I don't care what you think it means to be black. I don't care, and I will never, ever adhere to these ideas that you are ashamed of me because I don't care about my people. My people is my wife and my children and my family. Those are my people, and those people vary in races. My father-in-law is Mexican and Native. My wife is Mexican and Native. They are not black people. Those are my people, though. I don't care. I don't want to be a part of any exclusive club. Please do not contact me about your cause when it comes to racism or tribalism. I am not your Huckleberry. I don't care. Whoever is out there dealing with whatever they're dealing with and they want me to bring attention to it, I will bring attention to it if it has merit. But I'm not here to do your bidding. When Ellen came out and said that she was gay, immediately she was supposed to be an advocate for gay people. When Caitlyn Jenner came out and said she was transgender, she had to be an advocate for transgender people. You must. And now I have people telling me, Reese, you're black on a white station. You must speak for us. No. Let me tell you to your face. No. I don't want to represent you. What you represent is evil. It is. It's evil. And someone needs to tell you to your face. What you represent is evil. What you represent does no one any good. It is self-serving. It is bad for us as a society. And I will sooner call it out and I will destroy it before I ever join you. I don't want to be a part of your Satanist, ridiculous cult. And if you don't like it, too bad. Come at me. Come get me. I will fight you everywhere. If you want a piece of me, you know where to find me. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Otherwise, just step. Just bounce. Go listen to all of your nonsense, black on black loving, whatever the stuff it is that you represent, go do that. But you will get no recruits here. And you will not shame me into your posse. I don't cater to that. I don't fall for it. I would sooner you talk about me like a dog in the street. Call me your enemy. I'm fine with that because I know I am. Do we understand each other? Yes, I am your enemy. You want to come here and talk about the good? You want to talk about the betterment of all people? You want to talk about us living in cohesion? If you want to talk about us living in unity, you want to talk about making this place a better union, I'm down. But the minute that you throw the word race or black or my people, your people, their people, white, and nope, done. You have no advocate here. Gets to step in. I don't care if you don't listen. I don't care if you rage listen to this show. I hope you listen to the show to get you pumped up every day to go out on your quote-unquote racial mission. But I will not be shamed. Not in a way that you think. I'm not going to feel bad about myself, and I will sleep fine at night. I will sleep absolutely fine at night. You've got to come here. You can beg, you can grovel, you can protest. Get to it. I await the hate so that we understand each other. I don't care. And if you want to test that, test it. Let's see who's made of sterner stuff. I'm sure you'll walk away. Don't ask me again. Don't make another plea to me. We're done here. We understand each other? I thought so. Now, to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Jim in Wellington. Hello, Jim.
Yes, Reese. Let me tell you, I listened to you for a while, and to be honest with you, I didn't know that you were a black American. It wasn't until you. It wasn't. Listen. It's pretty simple. I listened to your show because you put on a quality show.
Thank you.
But not knowing that you're a black American for a little while until you said something on the air, then I got confused again because Biden told me you couldn't be black if you didn't agree with him or didn't vote for him. So, geez, now I'm really confused because now I'm listening to a guy who I didn't know was a black American, agreeing with pretty much everything I agree with, and the President of the United States is telling me you can't possibly be black if you don't agree with him. But I digress.
Yes, Jim. What did you want to call about?
Well, here it is. I'll try to make it really short. I was listening to something the other night, and to make a long story short, I believe it was Donald Trump who offered a path to citizenship for 800,000 DACA children, and then he expanded it to 1.7 million.
Indeed.
In other words, their family members.
I was one of the people who was outraged at it. I thought he had capitulated. I thought he capitulated.
Well, here's my point on it. The point is he offered a substantial change as long as the Democratic Party policy would change.
Right.
In other words, figure out some way to get to the table, to get everybody in line, etc. And if I'm not mistaken, you go back another, 12, 15, 18 years, 20 years, it was Ronald Reagan who did what again concerning amnesty?
He gave amnesty to millions.
5 million people.
Yeah.
And that was predicated on the fact that he felt it was the right thing to do as long as policy changed. And the Democratic Party, and then sometimes the Republicans, did nothing.
They did nothing.
Nothing to change it.
You know what, Jim? You bring up a good point before I let you go. You bring up a good point because you're talking about DACA, and that was during the first administration. Near the end of the first administration, I might add. Do you notice not one Democrat, even Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, is talking about DACA kids today?
No, that's right. That's right. Ask yourself why.
Yeah, right. They're more concerned about Obregón Garcia and illegal gangbangers being removed from the country with judges putting a halt on that, right? But actually putting an injunction on that and no mention of DACA kids.
Well, absolutely, because the DACA kids, from what I understand, are out there. They're trying to make something of themselves, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And you can't compare them to the Maryland dads. You know, how many Maryland dads were put in jail last night? It's absolutely ridiculous. I'll call back and a follow-up with that. Thanks for the time.
You got it, Jim. I appreciate you. Hey, all the way down in Alabama. What's going on, John?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great. Are you calling from Alabama, if I may ask? Whereabouts?
Leeds.
Okay. How are you, sir? What can I do for you?
Listen, man, I'm just like the last guy. I didn't know you were black either, so what's up, my nigga?
You're not allowed to do that. No, you're not allowed to do that. This is just, this is so typical. You have to drop that. People are just ridiculous. Let's go to my good friend. Craig's in the car. What's going on, sir?
I hate radio virgins. God almighty.
What's up, buddy?
All right, you have to make a pledge to me. I loved your last rant.
Yes.
Make a pledge to me, please.
Yes,
as
sir.
a friend.
Of course.
Drop the phrase African American community from your vocabulary.
Do you know? Hold on. That's elbowing. I'm elbowing them. That's me. That's a little nudge. That's why I do it. I know people hate it. That's why I use it.
The color of your skin does not make you part of a community.
Exactly.
Blood relatives don't make you part of a community. It's your friends, people that are like-minded, people you respect, people you want to help.
People you can, exactly. People you can borrow money from. I'm just saying.
Okay, all right. Or people that borrow money from you? Are they in your community? I don't know. I think Frank would probably say no.
Indeed.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of white people I don't consider part of my community.
Indeed.
There's a lot of black people, you included, that I do. Right? We're a community of good-hearted, righteous, God-fearing human beings.
Yeah.
And look, I'm of Italian descent. I don't have an Italian American community. What the hell is that?
You know what? Why did I always think that of you? I always thought that you had an Italian background. Why did I think that? I think there's a syntax. There's a sort of a phraseology that you use often that always brings me back to that sort of Italian. Because you remind me a lot of my friends who were Italian back in Queens. That's what it is.
It's an attitude. It's a mindset. It doesn't make me part of a community.
Right, I hear you.
Makes me a bit of an a-hole every once in a while, but that's okay. I'll take it.
Much appreciated. What do you got going on this weekend? You out of town?
Atlanta on Tuesday, but not this weekend.
You be careful in Atlanta, okay? There's a lot of stuff going on out there.
I'll send you some kudos from Atlanta Motor Speedway on Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday.
No doubt. Okay,
Might
enjoy.
Even call you from there.
Okay, yeah, give me a holler.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Ciao.
Okay, so when we get back, I'm going to talk about this HR 7213 and the piece that's in it that's actually bothering me because everyone talking about how these healthcare workers are going to be able to provide abortions. But the other part that's in here that I haven't heard any mention of is you know what? There's no real way to describe it. There's no real. I got to cut to the quick here. No physician or other healthcare provider shall divulge any information concerning the provision to a minor child of services. Why is no one talking about that? I hear everyone being concerned with any healthcare provider providing abortion care. But according to this, a minor, now if you think about this, okay, we'll talk about this in a little bit. I'll break it all down because I have the bill in my hand. You think about this. You're a mother. You're a father. Your child goes to one of these healthcare providers pregnant. They're underage. They get abortion care because that's what this bill is about. They get abortion care. And no one in that facility can report to the parent about that child's condition. That's a problem. And they're going to be voting on this today. So I want to talk about that and get your take on it. So give us a call, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842 when we return. Also, we've got some polling data from Harry Enton at CNN, as well as some Dr. Fauci news that we're going to tease for tomorrow's show that will explain his pardon, his pardon that he got from Joe Biden. We'll get to that in a bit. Okay? Now it's time for weather and traffic. See how we're doing on the roads and what we're doing outside of here. The weather is great. Let's get to Jason Catarino with weather and Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, bud.
Thank you very much, Reese. If you're heading into Hartford right now, we do have a problem in Rocky Hill. That's 91 northbound between exit 23 and 24. That is taking up the left and left center lane with a crash there. Look for delays back to exit 22, the Route 9 interchange in Cromwell behind that. After that, good ride into Hartford. Southbound 91 delays 34 down to 32 A and B. And again, 27 down to 24 Rubbernecking at that northbound crash. Westbound 84 slows 56 Governor Street to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound is tied up 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. If you're heading into Waterbury, 84 eastbound, we have a crash just prior to exit 18. That is taking out the right lane there. Tractor trailer and a vehicle involved in the crash there. Delays just about back to exit 16 in Southbury behind that. If you're traveling 9 northbound, you've got some slow traffic Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. And if you are traveling down toward New Haven, southbound Parkway delays 60 into the West Rock. 95 south delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
For the rest of our Thursday, a pleasant day with a blend of sun and clouds, the high of 72. Overcast tonight, couple of showers around, the low down to 53. Friday, it remains cloudy and warm. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm, breezy in the afternoon, the high of 81. Partly cloudy, mild Friday night, the low 59. On Saturday, cloudy, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Some of those could be packing a wallop and produce flooding downpours and localized damaging wind gusts, the high of 76 Saturday. A cloudy day for us on Sunday. Not as warm with a couple of showers, but still pleasant with a high of 70. Then periods of rain Sunday night continue into the day on Monday with more periods of rain. It'll be cooler to kick off the week. The high of 62. Tuesday, occasional rain continues. Make sure you keep that umbrella handy the first half of the week. The high of 64 for us on Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
5 o'clock, Hartford temperature, 69 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. May Day rallies at several locations across the state today were part of a nationwide campaign protesting the policies of President Trump. Union workers and their supporters say the state needs to do better for the working class. They rallied at the Capitol. About 5,700 nursing home workers informed the state they are setting a May 19th strike deadline. Democratic State Representative Jillian Gilchrist.
When this governor or this legislature tells you that there isn't enough money to raise your wages or offer you health care, what they're really saying to you is that we don't value your work. Connecticut's care workforce, the majority of whom are women, are paid poverty wages by the state of Connecticut.
SEIU 1199 Northeast wants a $25 per hour starting wage for those nursing home workers. Also, cleaning workers marched to the Connecticut Science Center seeking to get their jobs back after being replaced by a non-union vendor. Correspondent Scott McFarland says people are rallying across the country.
There are at courthouses and city halls across the country, from Los Angeles to Philadelphia to Houston, Seattle, Minneapolis, protests or rallies today outside of courthouses from lawyers, in some cases retired judges, taking their oaths again to show devotion to the U.S. Constitution.
A shake-up at the White
Please
House.
tell me you
More
can
from
get me that
correspondent
audio.
Linda Kenyon.
National Security Advisor Mike Waltz is out. So is his deputy, Alex Wong. Waltz is the first member of President Trump's second term to be ousted. This comes in stark contrast to Trump's first term, when several personnel changes happened before the first 100 days. Waltz has been under pressure since the Signal app controversy, in which a reporter was mistakenly added to a discussion about an imminent U.S. attack against Houthi rebels in Yemen.
And Waltz has been tapped to the position of UN ambassador. Secretary of State Ruby assumes the NSA position on an acting basis. Just about a month left in the 2025 state legislative session, and the posturing over a new two-year budget is ramping up. Education funding has been at the forefront this session, as has how to cut electric rates for consumers. Democratic House Speaker Matt Ritter.
There are some things, whether it's public benefits or storm recovery, that you could securitize. And you're basically playing this game. Instead of paying it back over 3 years as a ratepayer, You're paying back debt service over 20 years at a lower interest rate. That's not a crazy idea. Now, that's what Senator Fonfero is talking about.
Republicans have unveiled a 2-year spending plan of their own, complete with state employee wage freezes and cuts in medical assistance to undocumented residents. GOP Minority Leader Vin Candelora says the Dems' budget is the usual shell game.
And they're rooting for failure, not just for the state of Connecticut, but for the federal government and the country as well. All because politics is more important to them than actually being responsible and doing a budget that is balanced and sustainable.
Legislative session ends June 4th. State Office of Inspector General has issued a report on the 2024 officer-involved shooting that left a man dead in West Haven. Inspector General's report says the shooting of 33-year-old Jovan Washington was justified. They were called to the home on Terrace Avenue early on the morning of December 1st, 2023, after the mother of a woman said Washington choked the victim. Police told Washington to get dressed because he was under arrest. That's when the report says Washington retrieved a gun from underneath a mattress. A struggle ensued, and an officer was wounded in the leg. Washington was shot 3 times by another officer and a 4th time by a 3rd officer. He later died at an area hospital. The report concludes the use of deadly force was warranted given the situation. Dow up 83 points today on Wall Street. NASDAQ up 264. S&P gained 35 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
At Ayala Home Services, 1 minute. Heater issues a year. We know how much of an inconvenience no hot water is, and with our fully stocked trucks and warehouse, you can get your hot water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted professionals at ALO Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P10277688, E10401465, E11856643, S33086999, HIC628926, SM30044646, HOD635, HOD223.
I'm an elder law attorney, Haley Allaire. Our greatest reward is happy clients telling us that they're very thankful for our help.
I'm Carolyn from Coventry. Recently, my 82-year-old mother had a few falls and ended up in rehab. What we thought would be temporary care became permanent. When we applied for Medicaid, it was overwhelming. From our first meeting with Allaire Elder Law, they listened and guided us, providing clarity, kindness, and compassion. We were finally granted Medicaid, and a huge weight came off my shoulders.
Here we go.
Elder Law team.
AllaireElderLaw.com.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're back. We're going to talk about, like I said, HB 7213 in a bit. Also, we've got some audio of some new polling data with all of the, as you heard at the top of the hour, there was a piece that you heard in John Vila's report, some audio of some people talking about all of the protests that are going on. It's like, oh, lawyers are here, grandmamas, everybody else. I'm going to play some contrast to that because I want you to listen very closely as all of this sounds insane with all of this. And I'm going to make this very clear. Stop protesting. It's doing nothing. You're literally wasting your days. Like, this is a wasted, beautiful day. And your Saturdays and going after, you're wasting your time. Stop it. Stop wasting your time. Also, I'm going to read. I got a response to my Negro nonsense today. Let me read it for you. It says, we hear you loud and clear, Reese. You and your one-sided show 99.9% of your callers agreeing with your beliefs. Just another mouthpiece for the Republican Party. Let me break this down real quick so I make sure I get this right. Okay. One-sided show. Yeah, I don't come in here talking out of 2 sides of my mouth. Yeah, that's called inconsistent. One-sided, one view. What I know, that's it. I'll talk about my opinions. I'll talk about what I believe, but what I know. Of course, one-sided. Okay? My point of view is one-sided because I'm one man with one point of view. I don't need a whole bunch. Get your own. Okay? Get your own. 99.9% of your callers agreeing with your beliefs. Yeah, absolutely their prerogative. Absolutely. But if anybody else wants to call it disagrees, it's a telephone. Just pick it up. Just pick it up. That's all they need to do. Okay? All right. And the Democrats have their own talk shows, and they do the same thing. Yeah. Okay? Why should I be any different? Okay? So That's all I can say is, yes, you're absolutely right. One-sided, one view. I'm not all over the place. You hear these people talk about this nonsense. Have an open mind. Like what? What am I, 16? What am I, some teenager? My views are all over the place. Today, I believe that the sky is blue. Tomorrow, it's red. I just believe anything. No context needed. It's hilarious. Another check of the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher was in the BPS traffic center. I'm all over the place today, sir. All over.
That's all right. It's all right. It's all good. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, 91 northbound, a crash in Rocky Hill between exit 23 and 24. The left and left center lanes are out. Stay right. Delays are back to 22 in Cromwell behind that. And the Route 9 interchange. South of 91 delays 34 down to 32 A and B. And again, 27 down to 24. Rubbernecking at the northbound crash. 84 eastbound slowing. 44 Prospect Oakwood to the Bulkley. Westbound 84 tied up 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Heading into Waterbury, 84 eastbound, a crash up by exit 18. That is the right lane block. Tractor trailer and a vehicle there. Delays just about back to exit 16 in Southbury behind that. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, it's been a great day as we head through tonight. It's looking quiet to start, but then turning overcast. The opportunity there as we head through the overnight for a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the low down to 52. Then Friday, warm with clouds and sun, breezy in the afternoon, but the thunderstorm still, the high 79. Partly cloudy, mild Friday night, the low down to 59. A couple of showers and thunderstorms Saturday. Some of those could produce some flooding, downpours, and localized damaging wind gusts, the high 76 Saturday. Cloudy, not as warm with a couple of showers on Sunday with the high of 70. Right now, it's 68 in Mansfield, Meriden at 69, Waterbury 64, and 70 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
This Cinco de Mayo weekend, let's keep our community safe from drunk driving. If you celebrate a little too much, use a rideshare or designated driver. Amigos, don't let amigos drive drunk. Think before you drink. From your friends at Carter Mario Injury Lawyers.
Are you looking for an easy way to get a daily detox? Active Liver is the easy way to get a daily detox to keep you healthy and feeling your best. You can find Active Liver in the vitamin aisle at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Marty.
I was a really grumpy guy, sleeping like garbage, and getting older, the energy level was just in the toilet, and that was what led to me going in. I've been treated at Northeast Men's Health for low testosterone, coming on about 2 years now. Within a few weeks, I started noticing I was sleeping a little bit better. I definitely noticed a higher energy level, but the old man crankiness just went away. I'm able to stay really well organized. Nothing slips through the cracks. Having the tea treatment is leading me to keep on top of my game. What I would say to any other guy that is in the same situation where they feel like they're dragging, just call Northeast Men's Health. You won't regret it.
Thanks, Marty. It's true. Low T therapy can dramatically change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 with results in minutes. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call today, 800-930-5956, or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Seems everything costs more than groceries. And when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia, so hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audion Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair, and they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, and with over 1 million customers, Audion is easy to trust. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Robert. Less enthusiasm this time there, Roland. It's Reese on the Radio. We're back. An act concerning access to reproductive health care. This is Be it enacted by the Senate and the House of Representatives and General Assembly convened. So apparently, Jerry just sent me a memo saying that he was there and sent me some pictures of the hearing today. So the breakdown of this HB 7213, which I found alarming, starts at number 15. And I'll read this. B, any minor child may give consent for services, examination, or treatment related to pregnancy and pregnancy prevention without the consent or notification of the minor's child parents or guardian. C, no physician or other healthcare provider shall divulge any information concerning the provision to a minor child of such services, examination, or treatment, or any consultation for such services, examination, or treatment, including, but not limited to, by sending a bill for such services, examination, or treatment to the minor child's parents or guardian without the minor child's expressed consent. I'll go further. Nothing in this section shall be constructed to affect the obligation, if any, of a physician or other healthcare provider to make a report to the Departments of Public Health or Children and Families, or to make any other report or disclosure that may be required pursuant to state law. So, if the child shows up and is pregnant and underage, no one is to support this to Department of Children and Families, DCF. That's exactly, Polly. Parents are being nullified in this bill. Now, I know everyone's talking about everyone seems to be focused on the abortion part. But this is a gateway where parents will now know nothing and will be shielded from knowing anything about their children should some harm come to them. Because that's what this is. What happens in the event of... Now remember, any medical practitioner can perform this procedure. Right? That's where we are. What if there is malpractice? What if something goes wrong during the procedure? What if the child in question is injured in that procedure? What is the remedy? The question I have, what do you do under those circumstances? A parent is not to be told, and I'm assuming should some harm come to the child while this practice is being performed, some hemorrhaging, a healthcare physician who's probably not qualified to do this procedure, and let's say the patient ends up in some calamity, what do they do then? They're not required to contact the parent. What do you do? What does the parent, I mean, will the parent be informed? Will the parent be sitting at home wondering, wait, where's my child? I don't know, slippery slope. You tell me. I don't know. 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Rob in Meriden. How we doing, Rob?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you picking up my call. And I don't know. I just want to be honest, and you could hang up anytime you want. But beating up on Murphy and being a spokesperson for Mark from West Hartford, you know, you got your whatever. You could do what you want to do. You're a big boy. But
what's your problem with what's your problem with me going after Christopher Murphy?
I just think it's beating a dead horse.
Oh, well,
like,
if you notice, I haven't gone after Chris Murphy at all today. I haven't even mentioned.
But the thing is, though, he's a dead horse, and it's like, you know, whatever. I mean, I don't vote for him. I didn't vote for him. But you guys could spend your time on other agendas. And I think the citizens are.
Do you think that what I'm doing do you think what I'm doing is having no effect? Is that your position here?
Absolutely.
Really?
Because you could be going on other avenues.
Bob, please
going
give me
down other roads.
Bob, other than your personal animus towards me going after Chris Murphy as I do, give me.
Not this personal. Not this personal. Everybody
Hold
has
on.
their own
Okay.
opinion.
Okay. Let me put it this way. All things
Nothing personal.
Okay. Fine. I'm saying your personal observation of what I'm doing here.
Observation. That's a good
So your
terminology.
personal observation of what I'm doing here is beating a dead horse. And you say that you do not believe that you think that I'm beating a dead horse. And I'm asking you, do you believe it's having no effect? And what is your evidence that it is having none?
I'm just wondering, it seems like it might be making him getting more votes in the future because of the negativity, and don't be directed by somebody that you don't know who has another agenda or who may have a lawsuit against them.
Chris Murphy is polling at 1%.
Don't be misguided.
Chris Murphy is polling at 1%.
He'll still win. He'll still win.
No. First of all, he's running for president, whether you like it or not. If you're trying to understand what he's doing,
I doubt that.
No, he's running for president. It's the whole beard thing and doing the national tours. Why would he be in North Carolina, Bob? Why would he be in North Carolina?
Yeah,
his constituents are here in the Northeast in Connecticut. What the hell is he doing in North Carolina? Why is he going to Michigan?
That's a diversion.
No. I understand that. But again, if you don't think, see, here's what I do. You don't abandon your constituents to go to North Carolina and Michigan if you don't want a national platform. You don't go on national television shows and you don't do viral videos or so-called viral videos every day.
Talk to Mitt Romney.
No.
Trust to Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney's out of office. He's done. We're talking about a guy.
Exactly, but they do the same thing. It's history.
I'm well aware of that. But my point is,
pattern. It's the same pattern.
Bob, let me ask you. I'm just making a point here. The man is all over the country making a name for himself. These are, look, you can be a novice in this political thing. These are the actions of somebody who's trying to make a national name for himself. And he's polling at 1%.
But you're giving him money.
No, I'm not.
Your negativity is financing him.
No, it doesn't. See, what I'm doing
how's
is.
he get the money to do it?
I'll explain. First of all, he's burned through his $8 million that he grabbed that everybody was raving about. He's already burned through it. It means nothing. He's polling with all of that money that he got.
That went
Bob,
to Oprah.
let me finish. Out of all the money that he was able to garner from fundraising, he's burned through it, and he's at 1%. It's a wasted campaign. All the throwing the beard and doing every interview, it's all wasted. And so my beating up on him.
Yeah, that's kiddie. That's bullish stuff with the beard.
Yes, of course I do. Exactly.
But you don't want to say that. Don't stoop to that level.
I'm not stooping to any level. I'm exposing Chris Murphy for what he is. You think it has no effect, but people see exactly right through him. People who voted for him and gave him money. Listen to what I'm saying, Bob. People who gave him money, people who voted for him are asking the question right now. What are you doing all over the country talking to people who aren't your constituents? They see right through this, and that's all we're doing is exposing it. No one's called here to defend him. You're the only person who came remotely close by saying that I'm wasting my time. I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't, because I think you're fueling his campaign. I think you're giving him more money, and he's going to be the vice president candidate. He won't be the president candidate on the top ticket, if that's even around the corner.
Okay.
And that's if J.D. Vance can keep his mouth shut. And
Chris Murphy. Okay, let me just say this to you, Bob. Hold on. Let me just say this to you. Is it fair to say in your assessment that Chris Murphy is one of the loudest voices in the Democrat Party pushing back against Donald Trump?
Besides the other mummy, the guy was a mummy, Bernie Sanders.
Yes, but you can say that the one person in Connecticut, one of the loudest voices pushing back against Donald Trump, is Chris Murphy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, stop for a second. Stop. I want you to listen. I want you to listen.
The song guy.
I want you to listen closely. Okay?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
What about the parties up against each other, right? Donald Trump has not seen those favorable polls. when it comes to the economy, when it comes to immigration. But look here, which party has a better plan? And this is the margin among registered voters. Look at this on immigration. The GOP crushes the Democrats. Look at that. That's a 19-point edge. My goodness gracious, you rarely ever see leads like that in politics these days. How about on the economy, where Donald Trump's numbers have been struggling a little bit? But even there, Republicans hold a 9-point lead. If Democrats think that at this particular point, just because Donald Trump is unpopular, that they're going to run away with it like a Heisman Trophy winner, that is not necessarily the case.
Please don't tell me it's not resonating. They're getting
nowhere.
nowhere.
No, it is resonating, but they're using names like, right and left, Democrat, Republican, but people are all the same. So they could say that this decision of people, the Republican side thinks this, and the Democrat side thinks that, and we're going to let the public know this is how we interpretate how each Republican Party feels, and we're going to tell you how the Democrats feel.
Well, Bob, I can only take the Democrats for the words that they actually shoot out of their mouth. I take them at their word. I listen to them, and when I hear them, I respond to them.
You got to do the same thing with Republicans. too.
Actually, no, I don't. I have no intention of doing it. And you can ask me to do it.
You got to.
Nah.
Come on.
Yes,
come
as I
on,
said
Reese.
to my black audience, no, I'm one-sided here. I'm a conservative. I don't have to play.
No, that's the thing too. I don't like that Negro thing. There ain't no Negro. That's another thing.
Bob, I
Come
gotta
on,
go.
man,
I gotta
don't
go.
say
I gotta go. People getting. Please stop asking me what I have to do. I'm going to be who I am. I'm not here for you to be molded. I'm not clay. Okay? I'm not clay. I hope you didn't get the impression. I hope no one gets the impression that you're going to come to the Reese On The Radio show and say, I'm going to make him a better person. No. This guy, this person, I'm good. I'm fine. What did Matt in Bristol say? Black keys and white keys living in harmony. Yes, they are. Bob says, on the one hand, we complain about the lack of parental involvement. Then we come up with this. The country is in desperate need of competent leadership. Couldn't agree with you more, Bob. Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We do need more competence, without a doubt. Oh, that's right. The Negro thing is disgusting and racist. Oh, well, you know what? Thank you. Your approval means everything. Yes. Still don't care. You know what? Here's somebody who hasn't talked to us in a while. Let's take him before we go to break. Gio is in Canton. How are you, Gio?
Hey, I'm good. I'm surprised you remember me.
Of course. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you? I just wanted to talk about, the Negro nonsense thing.
Sure.
I feel like that was said to garner more attention from the audience and, get more calls. Why don't we talk about, I don't know, Asian antics or, I don't know. I feel like there's other things that we could call upon, but I feel like you say that you're not part of the community, but you use your
I use my blackness as a cudgel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm glad you brought Gio. You're 100% right. That's the brilliance of it. You do have to understand it. See, I didn't join this. I didn't come into this under the impression that the world had turned into this. Everything is racist, and it is black versus white, and race is the most important thing of everybody's life. I didn't start that war. That war was started, quote unquote, on my behalf. And I was told that I had to be on one side of that fight, and the only side I was allowed to be on was on theirs. And I said no. And when I said no, and I wanted to have a conversation, when I wanted not to be devil's advocate, but I wanted to ask questions, I was told to shut up and told to sit down. I was ostracized, I was demeaned, and I was politely asked to leave. And so I said,
by who?
By the black community, the so-called black community. And my response to that was, fine. We don't want to have a conversation about it. We don't want to have a nuanced conversation about what's going on and what's important and where our focus is. Because I only asked one thing. I said, we don't see a podiatrist for lung cancer. but they want to. So with that, if they told me that I had to use my platform for that purpose, I told them no and was going to go to the other side. But let me say this before I leave.
So you join the Caucasian crazies? I don't understand.
That's fine. I can join them if you want. But I decided to go on no side of this. But I will say this to you. Back in 2008, in fact, you know what? I'll hold it over till we get back. I'll tell you exactly what it is. I'm going to put you on hold. I'll explain to you what was the real bellwether moment that changed the way in which I was going to deal with the race problem in this country. And maybe you'll get the picture, maybe you don't, but I hope you'll understand. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christophers in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, man.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of 91 delays 34 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 down to exit 25 S&N in Wethersfield. Northbound 91, some tight traffic. Cromwell up into Rocky Hill, 22 up to exit 23 West Street. If you're traveling westbound 84, your delays approaching 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound locked up, 44 Prospect Oakwood down into the tunnel. 291 eastbound slowing I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 9 northbound and southbound a little slow approaching the Aragoni. 84 eastbound in Waterbury. Looks like that accident between 17 and 18 has been cleared, so all lanes reopened. There are delays from 16 up to 18. That should start to loosen up a little bit now that the accident's out of the way. Southbound Parkway, you've got delays 61 into the West Rock Tunnel, 95 South New Haven tight, 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Thursday afternoon, a nice day with a blend of sun and clouds, the high of 72. Tonight, it becomes overcast with a couple of showers, the low down to 53. Cloudy, very warm with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm Friday. Breezy in the afternoon, the high up to 81. Partly cloudy, mild Friday night, the low 59. Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Some of those storms could produce flooding, downpours, and localized damaging wind gusts, the high of 76. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. President Trump is shaking up his cabinet. Gone is National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. He was at the center of that Signal app debacle that included a reporter on a group chat among defense officials discussing military action in Yemen. Waltz has been tapped as UN ambassador designate. Secretary of State Rubio assumes the NSA role on an acting basis. Trump is threatening sanctions to anyone who buys Iranian oil. That warning comes from, or after, that is, planned talks between the U.S. and Iran over Iran's nuclear program were postponed. Republicans have unveiled what they're calling a reality check state budget. Among other things, the two-year package deals with high electric rates, calls for a wage freeze for lawmakers, and keeps spending in check. South Windsor police have arrested 3 men in connection with a police pursuit. They say they were alerted to a stolen vehicle on Route 5, the 3 facing pursuit, interfering in other charges. Connecticut's Inspector General says a police shooting of a suspect in West Haven back in December of 2023 was justified. They say Jovan Washington pulled a gun on them as they were about to arrest him in a Terrace Avenue home December 1st, 2023. Washington was shot a total of 4 times after the gun that he pulled went off and hit a police officer in the leg. Police say they were called there after the mother of a woman said Washington tried to choke her daughter. Wall Street, the Dow up 83 points today. NASDAQ gained 264 and the S&P was up 35 points. Red Sox finish a 3-game series in Toronto tonight against the Blue Jays. 6:07 the pregame here on TIC. Mets in Arizona at Citi Field in the Eastern League. Chesapeake takes on the Yard Goats, 7:10 first pitch for that. NBA first-round playoff action. Knicks are in Detroit. New York leads that series 3-2. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Attention. Racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
I don't want to say anything, but it's our birthday. I'm sure you knew that already, and I'm sure you've got a wonderful present. 100 years, by the way.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Let's go back to Gio in Canton real quick so I can explain this to you. And it's a very important breakdown of where let's just say where my mind went in all of this and talking about this on the radio as I did in my podcast back in the days. So let me explain this to you in a way that I know that you can understand. In 2008, I was covering the election. And I was in New Hampshire and all that other stuff, the speeches of Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and all that other stuff. And when I was talking to people in the African-American community about how significant Barack Obama's rise was, there were a lot of people who were in the community, and I was just trying to have a conversation about politics. I knew the importance. I understood the historic significance of Barack Obama's plight. But I wanted to know something more than what I was getting. And what I was getting was, I don't really know what he stands for. I don't really know who he is. I'm just voting for him because he's black. And when I tried to have more discussion, don't you care about what he stands for? What if he, completely wants to destroy this country? Nah, it's not important, man. He says, you know what I'm saying? You got to vote for him. And it was these arguments that start getting more and more pronounced. And here's the worst part. They started to become violent. And when I say violent, it was at a point where it became unreasonable to have a discussion about something that was important as our country. It was get in line or else. It was totalitarian, it was fascist, and I couldn't take it anymore. And it was bullying, even far worse, the one that really gets to me. So my stance became, so you're voting for Barack Obama because he's black? Good. That's why I'm not voting for him. At first, that was a gimmick, but then I started to hear people respond to that. And they would go, what do you mean you're not voting for him because he's black? That's racist. I was like, well, wait a minute. So you're saying that voting for him just because he's black isn't? And then I realized it. This is all about one story when we talk about race in this country. And you can only talk about one. And that's the side where you talk about slavery, you talk about racism, you talk about everything. No one ever is allowed to have a counter to that argument. You're not allowed to say anything. There was an SNL skit about it as well on Black History Month. People wanted to talk about it from a very nuanced point of view. And what were you told? Shut up. You're not allowed to have a discussion about this. And I said, no. That is tyranny. So people can hate me. I don't care. I'm sick and tired of being told what discussions we can and cannot have about race. And guess what Negro nonsense does? It causes this conversation to happen. And that is an open and honest discussion about race in this country. Forget about the platitudes and only having one side. Does that make sense?
Okay. It kind of makes sense. I feel like it was more of an anecdotal thing where you kind of just gave me that one experience that you had. I guess that same argument could be used for, Trump followers or Biden followers.
True.
I'm not voting for Biden, or I'm voting for Biden because I'm black, something like that, or I'm voting for Trump because
Joe Biden did that as well. Don't forget,
He's a
Gio,
businessman.
Joe Biden did that to Charlemagne the God. If you have a hard time figuring out whether or not you're going to vote for me or Donald Trump, you ain't black. Get my point? That's where I'm talking about. There are two sides to every story, but in conversations about race, you're only allowed to talk about one. That's my point. Thank you for the call. Let's take another minute to get to weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, man.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading on the southbound side of I-91, look for delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Another bump 27 down to exit 28. Northbound side of 91's a little slow as you move between 24 and 25-26 in Weathersfield. Westbound 84 tied up approaching 56 Governor Street out to exit 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound locked up about a mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. If you are traveling on the westbound side of Route 2, some delays from 1D up to the 84 West merge. Middletown 9 north and southbound slowing at the Aragoni. 84 eastbound southbound, you got some slow traffic between 16 and 17, again at the Mixmaster. Westbound 84 Waterbury slowing 23 into the Mixmaster. If you're heading into New Haven, southbound Parkway, some slow traffic from 61 down to the West Rock Tunnel. 95 South New Haven tied up from 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
All right, for tonight, after a nice day, overcast with a couple showers and a thunderstorm, the low down to 52. A warm day for Friday with clouds and sun, breezy in the afternoon with a thunderstorm around, the high 79. Partly cloudy, mild Friday night, the low down to 59. Cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm on Saturday. Some of those could bring some flooding downpours and some localized damaging wind gusts, the high of 76. Cloudy, not as warm with a couple of showers on Sunday with the high up to 70. Right now it's 66 in Meriden, 68 in Danbury, 59 now in Bridgeport, 68 for Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about your thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
Need dental implants? Columbia Dental's prosthodontic experts specialize in placing and restoring implants for a natural, confident smile. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Coverage varies by plan, view contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play. Stop, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
For New Year's, I wanted to try Ozempic, Wegovy, or other GLP-1 medications everyone's talked about. I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelfie can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with Zelfie?
Just send them a text.
Text DATE to 200-300 to get started this New Year's with Zelfie. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic for 80 to 90% less. 100% online. Don't wait. Text DATE to 200-300 right now for a link to your...
All right, here we go.
Text DATE to 200-300. DATE to 200-300.
What's up, everybody? You know who it
is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
About to get up out of here. Friday is another day. Roland's going to be off. Taking a trip. He's going to be out of town. I'll be here with, what's his name, Justin? We'll be here with Justin. Okay. Justin and I will be here tomorrow. He'll be filling in with me. We'll be, I'll see if I could get him off his rocker. I'm gonna probably haze him a little bit when he gets in town. I haven't seen him in a while. Where's he coming from? Springfield, right? Is that where he comes in from?
I believe so.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll have him here tomorrow. He refuses to talk on the mic. Is that his deal? Like he's very reticent to get on the microphone. I'll give him some razzing, if you will. Let's get to the phones. If you want to call and be the last but not least caller of the day, get on the horn. You don't really have to just speak. Just be on the line. Just call us at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. So you could be the last but not least caller of the day. So you could win a dozen bagels from our sponsor, Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon, our good friends. All right, so let's take Joe in New Hampshire, Wall Street. Joe, what's going on, sir?
Yeah, I've been wondering for a little while, since the weekend. When do you have plans, or when are you going to get Jordan Hudson on your show for a guest?
Jordan Hudson. Do I know who Jordan Hudson is? Am I forgetting that name for some reason? That name is escaping me. I think
you profess to know a lot about sports.
I usually do, but I don't know why that name's escaping me. Why?
Oh my God, your credibility is going from 100 to somewhere down below. Now, you've heard of Bill Belichick, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the girlfriend?
Yeah, Miss Maine.
Oh, no, of course, no offense, but of course I wouldn't know who she is. That's a child. I'm not going to be what if I wouldn't want to talk to her for? Apparently, she's horrible in interviews. Apparently, she's off
of the big interview this past weekend on CBS, and she kept interrupting. She stormed off. They only showed one instant where she cut in and said she didn't want to discuss how they met.
Yeah,
but I think it's an opportunity. You know, she's from Maine. She was first runner-up Miss USA a couple years ago.
I do remember that.
She's 24. She's 24 and he's 73, 49-year difference. I'm looking at the interview. I look at him and knowing his background and how domineering he was with the press and inaccessible, and to look at his eyes during this interview and the way she controlled him.
You think she's holding him captive?
I'm convinced that in this relationship, she's a dominatrix, and she actually, there are times in their privacy of his estate, I think she has him on a leash with
I totally get where you're coming from, but hear me out. This is, again, and I'll say this, I would never, ever make a comment about who you decide to date, whoever you're involved with, that's your business. But I will tell you this, and I look at this from that point of view. As soon as I saw her, she is absolutely a knockout. She's 24, so of course she's a knockout. Bill Belichick, stature, money, all of that good stuff. Clearly, as old as he is, he's going to be able to attract anybody who wants. Any woman who's willing to deal with his age will date him. Fine, that's no mystery to me. But I think about myself when I was dating this. When I used to date this girl out of Buffalo, her name is Brittany. She was 7 years my junior. I think she was roughly about 21 when we were serious with each other. I think I was about 27, 28 at the time. And I'll tell you, I broke up with her when she didn't know. I broke up with her when she didn't know who the Fed chair was at the time. And now his name is escaping me. Who is the former Fed chair who's married to Andrea Mitchell? What's his name? Somebody knows his name in the chat room. But yeah, she didn't know who he was. He was on television. She couldn't identify him. And I went, I think we have to break up. The only person she knew was who Monica Lewinsky was. She didn't know who Al Gore was, the vice president. She didn't know anything. And that's what I think about when I see Belichick with this young lady. is what could the two of them possibly have to talk about at all, if anything?
He needs someone for the first time in his career to tell him he's subservient and she's the boss.
Alan Greenspan?
And it's it's a fetish that he has to satisfy. I really think that.
Yes.
That's their business, by the way.
And Roland just cleared it up. Roland just told me who it was. Alan Greenspan. That's exactly who it was.
Alan Greenspan. Yeah, but let me give you this before I say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
There's a formula to decide the perfect age for a woman companion for a male. You know, when you're talking about older and younger.
I think I know this. Go ahead, but let's share it.
The psychologists and doctors and, all the experts, they all have the same formula. I've heard it for years. You take a man's age, half his age plus 10. So Belichick's 73. Let's call him 74 because he'll be 74 this year. So half his age is 37 and plus 10 is 47. So 47 would be his perfect mate age-wise in terms of age compatibility. That's the scientific number.
Wait a minute. Do that one more time.
Age
Do that one more time.
10.
You said half my age, so I'm 55. That would put me at, 23? 22?
28 or 29.
Okay.
27 and a half.
Okay, so 27 and a half. And what did you say? Plus 10?
Yeah. Plus 10 is 37 and a half would be perfect for you if you were out there just trying to find someone compatible that's younger.
Okay. Now, first of all, 37, my wife is 9 years younger than me. And so, no, 37 is still too young for me. If I was looking for somebody that young, I would probably, nothing of my wife, because my wife is going to kill me if she hears me say this, but I don't mean it, sweetheart. I'm just saying, if there was going to be any younger than me, 40 would be the cutoff. 15 years, that just seems too much.
And it applies to rich women with lots of money that want a young date. The same formula.
Oh, the same
applies.
formula. Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah. If you have a 80-year-old lady that's tons of money, like Senator, what's his name, Murphy.
Yeah.
80 years old, half is 40, and then 10 is 50. 80 and 50.
Yeah, I think. Well, he's 50. I think he's my age. Yeah, his girlfriend is probably like 20 years younger than him. But thank you, Joe. I appreciate you, sir. Let's go to blah 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 blah. Steve is in War. No, let's go to Polly. Polly's calling me from Niagara Falls. Hey, Polly.
Oh, hey. Oh, my. I was going to be done with the internet for a while. Then what is Reese talking about? I heard you saying, I didn't get the full report, but if they're actually proposing that minors can have surgery and abortions, and first off, minors, that would be girls having abortions.
Yep.
If they're, that would be also a crime because that would mean statutory rape.
Correct.
There's that.
And they're not, according to this bill, Polly, they're saying that the practitioner here is not to inform even DCF of that, which not report the crime.
See, in New York, I know several years ago, they tried to do something with the public schools that under the UN, I think, or the WHO, that minors and their rights, they got a right without parents knowing. And so the school could know and then even scoot them over to a clinic. I'm telling you, that is so egregious. Parents should be marching down the streets with that.
Exactly. That's there were activists at the hearing today. Jerry actually sent me some photographs because he was there live today reporting from that. He works for another station, but he was there live reporting, and he took a lot of photographs. There were a lot of pro-life groups that were there who were in attendance. So we'll see. I don't know if the vote took place, but we're waiting on it.
Okay. And listen, really quick, I'm going to send you a link.
Okay.
Under this chat, hopefully. This redacted show. This, I couldn't believe it. I thought I was keeping up on what's going on, but 349,000 illegal immigrant children.
Yes.
During the 4 years of Biden were lost under HHS. Trafficked also, but being sent to what do you call them? Sponsors, right?
Yeah.
And
I think
And
what
they-
you're talking
okay.
about is what Robert F. Kennedy revealed yesterday was that the HHS was facilitating the trafficking of children to the tune of over 300,000, close to 500,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And listen. Remember the Walmart plumbing issue closings?
Yes.
It turns out, I guess, and I don't know if it's tied directly, but a lot of Walmarts were being used to house these children. And then you
Wow.
got the government workers under the care, or these children under their care, a lot of them being also abusive
Yeah.
criminals, and then let alone where they send them to. And under it's criminal beyond belief. You're talking about 1/3 children.
Yeah.
in
I
a short
have
amount of
that
time.
audio. I'm going to be playing that tomorrow during the show because it's a slow news day, but I got all of that
All
stuff
right.
set up. Thank you, Polly. I appreciate you, dear. Let's get one more in here. We might as well. Why not? Let's go to Mona, who's calling from South Windsor. I've always loved that name. Hello, Mona.
You know, last week or 2 weeks before, I won the bagels.
Oh, you already won?
Yeah, but the trouble happened is I put out all the information. I sent my license, and I didn't get any information, text back or anything, that I was okay.
You know what? Pause,
So
Mona.
that's why I was calling.
Pause, Mona. We'll make sure that's taken care of. Give me 2 seconds. All right. So I guess last but not least is going to be our good friend Joe in Coventry. Hello, Joe.
Hey, Reese. How's it going?
Pretty good, sir. Yeah, I'm going to make you my last but not least caller of the day. Is that okay?
That is fine with me. I just wanted to end your night on a happy note.
What do you got?
I just wanted to commend you for identifying as a man.
Thank
Not
you.
as a black man, just as a man. I think that's what we need to strive for.
Exactly. And that's, again, I'm going to push that narrative no matter who resists. And I know there are going to be some people who are going to come after me for it, but I don't care. Like I said, I'm going to stand strong. And the best part about it is I tell this to my kids, is that when you are facing a string of or a sea of opposition, you have got to stand firm. The measure of a man, the measure of any person for that matter, is being able to face down your opposition and not back down. If you believe in truly who you are and what you believe, you have got to stand firm. If you waver, you are no more sheep than they are.
I believe that. Don't succumb. Don't be a sheep.
That's right, indeed. Thank you, sir. Let me put you on hold, and we will get Joe his dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. Got another text that says, I knew it. That's why you're so bitter against us. I'm not bitter against anybody. I don't do bitter. I don't. I fight. I don't believe in bitterness. I fight. I fight back. Anybody can sit around and be bitter all day. They have more than me. They have this. They have that. Why don't we have something? That's bitter. I don't care. I want what anybody else wants. I have what I have. I have to get into a fight with my wife about this. And I'm telling you, this is a personal thing with me. And it's not that my wife is I don't say this because my wife is some sort of bad person. But I know that this is indicative of some. And that is the sort of watching other people's lives and sort of having a degree of envy. Oh, I wish I could do that. Oh, I want to do that. And then you start evaluating your life, right? You start looking at your own life and you just say, how come they have this and they have that? I want that too. And you start measuring your own life through others. But what people don't see is that you are demeaning and belittling and diminishing your existence in doing that. Not acknowledging what you have, the gifts that are yours, the gifts that God gave you. Not celebrating what you have. I did the weirdest thing yesterday, and I was telling my wife about it. I went into the kitchen, and I went to go open up the refrigerator, and the refrigerator has this dial on the bottom of it. It's a Whirlpool, and it's got the temperatures on the thing, and I opened it up, and I looked at it. And for some odd reason, I got this sense of pride that just says, I've got a refrigerator with temperature on the outside digitally on there. And I really felt good about myself. I was like, I would have never had that when I was poor, like when I was struggling to get by when I was in my 20s. Like, I've got a digital thermometer on my refrigerator. That's so cool. And I could afford to buy that. I'm the luckiest man on the planet. That's the way I felt. And I know it sounds silly and corny, but I really do believe that. Cherish what you have. Cherish who you are. Cherish the time you're in. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the Radio. You, be good. We'll see you tomorrow. Jason Catarina's got weather, and I'll say this about traffic. If you're stuck in traffic and Mark is going to tell you about it, take that time to listen to an audiobook. Take that moment while you're crawling through traffic to love life. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, tell them where they're going to enjoy life.
Enjoy every day, man. You never know when
That's
you
right.
run out of runway.
Damn
So
right.
Enjoy every day. Reese, have a great night. If you're heading into Hartford right now, 84 eastbound, you're slowing 43 up.
All right, good sir. You enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, man. I'll see you on
Tuesday. Yes, sir.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if you heard, but I'm taking off on the 30th of this month.
Okay.
Because I got to go to graduation.
May 30th?
Yeah, May 30th.
All right, cool.
Because I got to go to the kids' graduation. So I'm flying
Gotcha.
out.
Waterbury still seeing some pockets.
All right, sir.
Thank you, man.
Eastbound between 16 and exit 18 in Waterbury on the eastbound side of 84, heading toward New Haven. South.
All righty, everybody. Appreciation for what you earned is the best. It is, Lori. I'm telling you, I don't even know what came over me. I looked at it. I looked at the refrigerator and I went, oh, yeah, that's kind of cool. I actually have a refrigerator that does that. And it was weird. I even felt kind of geeky about it. It's just really weird. But I was like, and I was riding that for about an hour or two. It's like, yeah. Sometimes I look at my house and I was like, I own a house. Look at that. Things I would have never imagined for myself 10, 15 years ago. Like, I'm here. Like, damn, it's freaking fantastic. You guys be good. Love y'all.